Welcome to another episode of the Fifth Quarter Podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Jones, the Bluff City Cowboy, coming to you live from Memphis, Tennessee. And this is our season finale episode of the Fifth Quarter Podcast. As you guys know, we could not have that victory Wednesday we all expected. And we had a heartbreaking loss at home, mind you, against the Green Bay Packers. So we're going to talk about that game a little bit, as depressing as it was. And then we'll also talk about a few storylines from this week, because we have a couple of things that have come up related to the coaching ranks. And we'll look ahead a little bit to talk about what we can possibly expect for the 2024 season. So, of course, joining me today is the creator and the founder of the DC4L Facebook group, Miss Amanda Foster. Thank you for joining.
Hey, y'all. I hope everyone's doing a little bit better than I feel right now. I still ain't gotten over it. So,
Yeah, it's been rough.
It is a mess. I just don't even know what to think. I'm going to start you off real quick and take a second. I don't know. I'd love to see in the comments what y'all think. I don't even know what to do. Where do you go from here? I mean, we're in a mess. We are in a very, very big mess. But I'm happy to have everybody here and looking forward to chatting it up with Marcus, seeing what we can figure out. Not that what we say matters. We could probably run the team a little better than the guy in charge anyway. So
yeah. So thank you for joining us, the Lunatic. Also, thank you for joining us, Facebook user. Be sure to let us know in the comments who you are, so that we can give you a shout out. Looks like the fan base may be pretty depressed, Amanda, because the views aren't as high as they usually are at this time.
I see that. Everybody's upset. Can you blame them though? It's okay. We got prizes, y'all. We're gonna give stuff away too. Don't worry. We got some stuff to give away. So stick around, chat it up with us. I don't even know. It's sad. We talked about not doing one. If you want, Marcus, I'm gonna put you out there. We discussed not doing one, but we wanted to do a finale and kind of, sit back and look. We'll see where it goes from here.
I honestly didn't plan on doing it. That was, for me personally, the worst loss I can remember in my 30 plus years of being a fan. That was by far, and because of expectations. Yeah. You could not have told me we would have lost that game.
I still really don't know what happened. Like, I'm going to say this. I don't know what in the world. It's like Dan Quinn was already driving out of the state. Like, go from playing man-to-man all year, doing great at it, having great success, and then next thing you know, you're going to go to zone in the biggest game of the year. I don't understand. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just reading comments.
Oh, I don't remember a loss this heartbreaking. And I even will put this one up higher than the not a catch with Dez. Mm-hmm. That was pretty bad. But this is crazy. Like, we should have ran them, out the door. They ran us out of our own stadium.
Yeah. And I was hurt by that Green Bay game, but it wasn't as painful because it was Aaron Rodgers. You look at the history he had against the Cowboys, and we gave him too much time. That one, it hurt, but I could see the writing on the wall when we gave him too much time and when it wasn't called a catch. This one, to get beat just handedly at home, NFC Championship just right there paved for us in gold.
Yeah.
And we weren't even competitive. That's what makes it so painful.
Yeah, this was the best chance we've had in years to make it to a conference championship. And we literally just shot ourselves in the foot and threw it out the window. Mm-hmm. And, and everybody in here knows that Jordan Love is about to get probably smacked around this week. That's what makes it even worse. They're not, he just got a playoff win under his belt. It's disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
So. But I will say the interesting stat I looked up was one of the things I noticed. I posted about it too. All the offensive coaches that we've really not been able to, get around as the Cowboys with Dan Quinn, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, Mike McDaniels, all people that had our number, 3 of those were playoff losses. All of them were on Dan Quinn's Super Bowl team. I didn't know that. I went
Yeah,
and did the research. That's crazy. So they know him inside and out. You'd think he would know that and be better prepared. It doesn't make any sense.
they all come from the same coaching tree. The Shanahan coaching tree.
Well, I hope he's out the door. I know people don't like it. He can go.
We'll talk about
Send
that
him
in a
out.
minute as well.
I know we will, Marcus.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. We'll start our first segment of the show. We will do a quick game recap of Sunday's game against the Green Bay Packers.
Game recap.
So, as you guys know, and I didn't even change the Lions thing. I apologize. Final score 32-48 Packers. Embarrassing loss at home. I try to limit my notes to 3. And let me go to the comments really quick because you guys are really commenting, and I always want to show you guys support for you supporting us. The Lunatic saying we got a soft schedule again next season, but we now got a lame duck head coach. Facebook user saying bring in Vrabel as DC. We'll talk about that in a minute. Joey Alexander, I think that's a new name, so thank you for joining us. Saying Jerry needs to go. Unfortunately, that has 0 chances of happening, so just got to ride the wave, Joey. The Lunatic saying worst loss since San Francisco beat us to take away the 3-peat, going all the way back to the 94 year in the infamous pass interference / foot entangle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember that one, Amanda.
I do.
Dion versus Michael Irvin on the deep throw. They
Yep.
called pass interference. The ref picked it up, said it was foot entanglement.
Yeah.
That one was my worst loss up until this one. That one still upsets me. More than a day has caught it. That one really upset me.
I was still pretty young then. So I grew up in that era. My dad took me to playoff games in the 90s. So I mean, I don't have as vivid memory of you. So it's just I unfortunately have a history. Most of my life has been failure with the Cowboys. But I'm still here, So
Yeah. Cy Witherspoon, thank you for joining us. The loss was horrible. I'm still in shock. See, we got Jeff joining us. Jeff, thank you for joining. Appreciate you tuning in. I don't know if you guys were all here at the beginning of the show, but one of the reasons we did do this show is because we do have one giveaway left. So we had 2 jerseys donated from our sponsors. Go ahead, Amanda.
Oh, 2. We have the hat still as well.
Right.
We've got one of those cool hats. Yeah. So and then a jersey. So
our intention was we'd be giving away gifts all the way to the Super Bowl, but of course that did not happen. So we have a jersey and a hat left. So we will be giving away a hat and a jersey during this week's episode. And as you guys know, the best and only way to get those prizes is to keep those comments coming in. Facebook user saying McCarthy ain't going nowhere with the seasons he's had. Cy Witherspoon asked the question, why didn't we adjust? We'll talk about that in a minute. Thank you, Rachel Nians, for joining us always. Become a regular on the show. Defense was definitely horrible. Tyrone Robinson, team has to play and ain't all the coaches. Let me ask you this question, Amanda, because we haven't talked about this.
all right.
Do you give that loss, and this great question, Tyrone Robinson, great comment. Do you give that loss more on the coaches or the players based off of what you saw?
Okay, so the first quarter I'm gonna blame on Dak Prescott, and we can talk about that deeper. But I'm gonna break it down by quarter. So, and first you got to start really with the defense. They let Aaron Jones run the ball right down their throat.
Mm-hmm.
Dak took the ball behind. I know people, we started behind. Dak didn't even get on the field until it was already 7-0. And then Dak had the picks, so I got to give that to him. But then how do I put this? Dan Quinn irritates the absolute crap out of me. It's almost like, and then Mike McCarthy sees green and gets all like soft in the belly. I don't know. It's like, so I'm going to go 50-50 because the team wasn't prepared. This team was not prepared for this football game. I don't know if this was another Arizona issue where we overlooked them because they thought it was just going to be a give because we're facing the 7th seed. the first 7th seed to ever win a playoff game, mind you.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It's a good 50-50 split. The players have to execute, but it is the job of the coach to get the players prepared. I mean, you have to prepare with your team. That team didn't even look like they didn't even leave the star. Half of them were still at the freaking headquarters. I don't know. I almost cussed there, and I don't do that on the show. Um, I'm just flabbergasted. I think it's a pretty even split to answer that question. It's half and half. The coaches didn't prepare the team didn't execute. But then you have to wonder what were they going to execute, because it didn't look like nobody had a plan.
Mhm.
I mean, it was a bad game. What do you think, Marcus?
You guys know I don't like to talk about Dak. I try to stay neutral, but looking at that game, uh, Green Bay got the ball first. They scored a touchdown. Okay, that puts us behind the 8 ball a little bit. But the way Dak came out, just completely, you can see that he was shaking.
It
He
looked like he
was
was scared.
right. He was overthrowing ball. He was overthrowing easy throws that he made all year. Bad interceptions. Uh, Getting frustrated with CD Lamb and then just completely staring him down for that pick six. It was just a terrible game for him. And I mean, he did technically get rolling in the second half, late second quarter, but at that point, they were up 27-0. So they're just playing prevent defense because they know we can't stop them from running the ball anyway. So
Yeah,
that first quarter and a half of Dak just coming out flat and Green Bay being the complete opposite, looking like we normally look, I feel like that put us behind the 8 ball a lot. I don't want to take anything away from the defense because the defense did perform poorly, but I feel like if we would have been a little bit more competitive early on the offensive side of the ball, we would have had time to adjust and work things out. We talked about this earlier in the season with us. Once a team's up or down 20-0, it's pretty hard to adjust at that point because you're playing so far behind the 8 ball. Nothing you do is really going to be successful enough to bring you back in the game. So I'm putting this one more on Dak beginning of the game than I am on the team as a whole, and especially the coaching, because the coaching
what do
was
you
bad. But I mean, Dak first quarter
it was
and a half
bad. What do you
unacceptable.
think? What was up with CD and Dak? I mean, Dak looks scared out of his mind, and it's almost like, and I want to preface what I'm about to say with,
Uh
I
huh.
do not think anything. I want to make this clear because what I'm about to say is going to sound like it, okay?
Yeah.
I do not think anything is scripted. I think that's just crazy.
Yeah.
I think maybe refs get involved sometimes to sway an outcome, but I do not think that anything's scripted. Players don't know. But it did look like someone had walked in there and told CD Lamb, "You're not going to win this game. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care what you do." It was bizarre. I've never seen them so off. And for a people like for a duo that's been as hot as they were all year, I don't get it. Like, I don't know what happened. Dak was the best quarterback really in the league all year, and then
Yeah.
you like playoff Dak show. I don't know. I don't even have excuses for any of them right now. It was really bad, and I think it starts at the top, and that's where people are too busy trying to be friends with players
Yeah.
than be their boss. Jerry, it starts with Jerry, and it goes down to Mike. This is not a friend. I have friends at work, but my boss is still my boss, and it doesn't.
Mhm.
And he'll be my boss before he's my friend. It's almost like they. It's almost like how that they're friends before they're employees. It was bad. It was just a really, really bad game, and we got laughed out of the building. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
If I had to
definitely I'll sing it through.
if I had to speculate, and this is 100% me speculating based off of the little bit I know about football and what I saw on the field. When a team comes out on offense, there's normally a blueprint for the first 15, 20 plays. The first two drives. I honestly felt like looking at the game, Dak was rattled because Green Bay went down to score so easily. And it looks like Lamb just got frustrated off of how what was supposed to be the game script actually looked. Because just looking at every game we've seen the past 8 weeks, Lamb's usually involved pretty early and often. And I
Mhm.
believe that first drive he wasn't targeted. And we all know when Lamb doesn't get looks, he gets frustrated, and he doesn't have
Mhm.
that normal diva wide receiver type frustration. He has more of an, I hate to say this, the Amari Cooper type frustration where he just looks flat and unenergetic. And it's kind of just almost a moping around type situation. And I feel like something had to have happened in that first drive, first two drives that didn't go as expected because the coach had to come over and say something to him. And he never does that with CeeDee Lamb. And
Yeah.
they said that during the broadcast. So I feel like it was that. And then if you recall, when they came back on that second drive, they put Lamb in the backfield.
Mhm.
So it's almost like we're gonna guarantee you get a touch to get you back in the game and get you back in the momentum of things. And then they started throwing him a couple of balls, and then the fourth drive was the straight telegraph interception, pick six. So I
W
feel like just that whole sequence of things kind of caused the frustration with Dak and Lamb early in the game.
Why do you think we don't utilize, like, an opponent's weakness? I have noticed that it's like Mike McCarthy can't does he not sit I mean, I sit down and watch the team we're going up against last game, and we discussed it last week.
Yeah,
They're rough in the middle of the field, they were weak there. Weren't even utilizing it. It makes 0 sense to me.
yeah. Um, One of my close friends named Coach Webb. He's come on my old podcast a couple times. He's been in the chats quite a bit. He's a college coach right now, head coach. He's been a DC. He has worked under Dan Quinn as an intern for several years. So he when he tells me something, I know it comes from a place of knowledge and firsthand experience. What he told me was when you're in a coach's uh, meeting room, study room, coaches are the most delusional, most egotistical. I'm using my words, but this is what I got from him. When a coach puts a game plan in, he thinks every play is going to be a touchdown. And some coaches, and this is usually the younger coaches that you see, the Mike McDaniels, Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay. The younger coaches will look at a team they're playing and say, "This is what they're weak against. This is what we're going to attack." Their scheme is more fluid. When you get to older coaches, it's this is my scheme. My scheme works. I've been doing it for 20, 30, 40 years. And it's just like Novocaine. You give it time and it's going to kick in. And I feel like that's kind of the problem we were having with our coaching staff, in particular. And then I've seen this all throughout the chat, so I apologize again. About talking about how we switched from that zone somewhere in the game strategies. Dan Quinn decided I'm going to go against what I've done for the past 5 years and what's been successful for the past 17 games. And I'm going to go to a zone scheme. And did not work. It was a massive
We
failure.
we don't even have the personnel to really run zone well. I don't understand. I don't get it. I I don't know.
You
I'm
know
so
what?
disappointed.
Not o- Not only do we not have the personnel, we haven't practiced it enough. You
Well,
cannot take you cannot take a team that's run man concepts, which means you're in front of me and I'm going to mirror you. You can't
uh-huh.
take me from that to say, all right, now I'm going to backpedal 10 yards and I have to be cognizant of a 15-yard perimeter around me and know who's coming where when for the entire year, my eyes have told me I'm
To follow
following
him.
one guy.
Yep.
I don't know how to go from one space to another and break off my zone. And the guy next to me doesn't know to pick up someone who comes in his zone. That's
I
why you saw the,
that one play?
I mean, I could think of 3 plays off the
Well,
top of my
I'm
head.
thinking the one that was the
The,
most obvious. It's like, what
the
who was
tight
that?
end,
Christian Watson in the back or no, Dobbs. Who was it that got so back there?
Are you talking about the one where he ran across like a post and then stopped and broke to the corner route?
All I know is the dude was wide open. I can't even like think
Yeah.
technically right now. Like he was, I mean, there was no one around him.
Yeah.
I think Bland was having a beer on the sideline. I don't know. Like maybe they got some turkey legs. Yeah, the Luke
Yeah.
Musgrave play. I think that was it. Yeah.
Oh, that's the
Jeffrey
one
said.
where he ran the drag across the field and
Yeah,
basically
and
just,
then he.
and
Yeah.
everybody lost their positioning in their zones,
Yeah.
and he just ended up wide open and on the other side. Yeah.
Yeah, there was it was Dan Quinn. I'm sorry, and I know a lot of people love Dan Quinn, and we were all, oh, we don't want him to go. After last week, he can hit the road. I will buy him a plane ticket wherever he wants to go. That he can. It's a discount. DC for L, send him packing. I am so angry with that. Was ridiculous. It is not the time to experiment in the postseason. Someone said that earlier. I read it. You're correct.
Yeah.
This is we are. And the problem is, and I want to say this, I know we got a lot to talk about. It's funny, Marcus and I didn't want to do the show, but y'all are going to hear us go back and forth quite a bit because we're both upset. This was bad, and I took a lot of crap from Eagles fans for about 16 hours until until I told them, well, don't worry, you're going to come sit right here next to me shortly. Baker Mayfield sent them home. Jordan Love sent us home.
Yeah.
But with McCarthy staying, we know this. We're going to talk about it in detail. We need a young, we have fantastic position players on defense, but the issue is we are in a period where we're not going to have success because we've got to pay a lot of money. Everyone needs to get over the Dak leaving. Dak's here. We have to do something. $59 million against the cap this year. We either make it work and don't extend him and then probably lose a couple of pieces that could potentially get us somewhere, eventually, maybe at least to a playoff game. I'm sure we're good at those. But I'm just saying that we're in a really tough spot money wise. So we're in a point. This was our year. Next year is probably the last good opportunity with the players and the core that we have. We have what, 16 free agents?
17.
17.
17
Yeah.
unrestricted. We have
And one, Dowdle's restricted, I
yeah.
know.
Mhm.
We're in a really rough spot. So I hope Dan Quinn gets on Jerry's yacht and sails off into Never Never Land, and he can go somewhere else. Maybe we can play him in the playoffs because he seems to not have success there defensively. I'm so upset, guys. I'm sorry I'm rambling. I'm so frustrated because this team, we deserved more as fans. And for the players, they deserved more too. I don't know why they didn't execute. It's very, very bizarre. And DeMarcus Lawrence, I see 1-2 years left. Like we got a really good D-Law this year, and I don't think we're going to have that much. So
yeah, I think next year's the last year of his deal.
it is.
So got a lot to look forward to in terms of, like you
Facebook,
said, a lot of turnover.
yeah, Facebook user, you said what are your on resigning Cooks? Cooks is actually under contract next year. Brandon Cooks, he's not going anywhere. I mean, unless we cut him to save money. I would suspect Gallup would be more. And on that, hold on. Why are we throwing the ball to Michael Gallup so much when we've barely given him the ball the past 7 games? Can someone explain that to me as well? Like, that's just bizarre. I mean, at least he was catching it this time, but we were we were utilizing players we don't usually utilize. I just don't get it.
And again, I think it goes back to Lamb. Lamb had mentally checked out after like the first 2 drives, and Green Bay was in a zone. They were giving us everything we wanted. If you're not going to throw it to Lamb, who else you going to throw it to? Gallup was open and he made plays. Yeah.
Bruiser, I see that's you over there as a user. You have to go up to the DC for L page if you're not there, and just kind of log in, and go to that live stream and give StreamYard permission to see your name. That's what Justin Robinson said he did.
Yeah.
Bruiser's one of the raffle guys I know. He's a good dude. He's a big memorabilia guy.
Okay.
Thanks for stopping in. He hadn't been here before, so thanks for stopping in.
Thank you.
But
Side with a spoon. I don't want to be one of those ranting podcasters, but I'm really upset, and I'm holding back a lot. I'll tell you that. I'm really upset about the whole situation. William Coulter, why do we always run the ball on 2nd and 10? Was getting nothing. Once again, coach's ego.
Yeah, we got a bot, it looks like, in the chat. Y'all don't click on any links that bot sends. Do you
I'll
see it? I don't know.
I can block and delete, so I'm doing that now. I
Okay,
can block and
perfect.
delete
Thank
it.
you. Thank you. No one click
Yeah.
on anything that she probably does not want to be your friend. Sorry. Um, uh,
Yeah.
but anyways,
Wrap
Marcus
it
is
up and
much
to the
more
choir.
level. Marcus is much more level-headed than I am. I'm so grateful to have you sitting over there because you at least keep me somewhat calm. I'm just frustrated. Uh,
Yeah.
and I live in the area, so of course it's rough. If you're a Dallas fan, I'll still wear my gear. Don't get me wrong. I'll be a Cowboys fan forever. And I've seen more people saying they're done with the team, and I can't comprehend that either. Like I don't understand being done with a football team. I get being mad,
Yeah.
but I don't. I don't understand walking away from your team. That's not me. So,
So
um,
quick disclaimer. If you're sick of being a Cowboys fan and you wear a size 3X in jersey and you plan on burning that jersey, send me a message and we can talk.
yeah, well, yeah.
I,
And if you want to get rid of anything else that happens to be, I also take things. We can give it away here to the fans who want to still be
right.
fans. We'll take your donations. Huh?
All right, guys. So I ran a little bit, but I did put a couple of notes in about the game, and I'll go through them really quickly, and then we can move ahead. So first we'll look at my offensive notes, and again, Dak, I just don't know. Big
Bum, bum,
games,
bum, bum.
big games. He's selling balls. His footwork is inconsistent. It's like the stage gets too big for him sometimes. And somebody made a comment. I'm sorry. I think I started, but it said something to the effect of tell Dak it's a regular season game instead of a playoff game, and then hopefully he'll do better. Um, the second note, the skill position was actually pretty good. Tony Pollard ran hard and ran well. Uh, Ferguson, just spectacular game. Hated
Yeah.
had to come in an upset like that. Michael Gallup did some good things, even though I don't think he'll be there next year. Uh, Overall, the skill positions, despite being down, outside of maybe Lamb, nobody really gave up. You could still see them fighting for yards. You could still see them playing. So that's one thing we can kind of hang our hats on, that our skill position really took a step forward this year, and hopefully we'll see more out of them next year. And then the last one, just play calling in general was inconsistent at best. Even when the game was pretty much out of our reach, somebody just brought it up. We're still running the ball on 2nd and 10. Um, we're not throwing the ball downfield at all, even though they're running straight cover 2, and the safety started just playing 20 yards downfield. Early in the game, we weren't taking advantage. We talked about this last week, how terrible they were in the middle. And they made some plays in the middle, but we should have been attacking the inside more, particularly those
Mhm.
linebackers. We should have got the running back out of the backfield a little bit more. We should have been making them run in their front 7, running more outside. Somebody brought up the note, and again, I apologize because you guys are putting in the comments pretty quickly. The fact that when we were going on first down, almost every time, and they put this in the broadcast, first down, Green Bay will run with 5 front defensive linemen, 5
Mhm.
guys on the line, and we still kept running right at them instead of audibling out and going into something more favorable, a short pass, run play. Just inconsistent play calling at its best. And on the defensive side of the ball, and guys, again, thank you guys for joining us. Jeff said it should pass against 5-man fronts. 100%
Yeah.
agree. On the defensive side of the ball, just talking about some notes from there. Defense was 100% out coached. We talked about this. Why did we go to heavy zone? I just don't see it. Um, you put Jaron Curse in coverage. This was the game where you put him on the tight ends and let him cover, instead of having
Mhm.
him 20 yards deep playing a zone. Just didn't make sense. Another thing that I noticed, and I know looking at a lot of other podcasters, they pointed to how our linebackers are undersized. That is true. But our run defense was not bad because the linebackers were undersized.
They missed it.
They missed a lot of assignments, and the linebackers as well as the safeties. Once again, J. Ron Curse, Donovan Wilson. You have them playing in a zone. Looking at the all 22, far too many times they were trying to get back into their zone instead of filling their run gap responsibilities, and they were just leaving just gaping holes on the outside that Aaron Jones was taking advantage of. And again, third one, just talking about the second one, safeties made a ton of mental errors in the run and the passing game. Put them in a zone position. They're not used to playing zone consistently. Just way too much all around bad play calling and bad playing on the defensive line. Amanda, anything to add on to that?
Hmm. Um, I saw someone was talking about it. I want to say I think someone said we had six. Like at one point, we had like six players at the line that shouldn't have been. Like, and that was what was really killing our coverage. I don't know particularly. I kind of checked out there a little bit during the game. I was so frustrated. I started cooking dinner. I don't do that. It was a playoff game. I
Mhm.
started making dinner. Um, but it's like our defense, if they get, like, flustered easily or if something big happens for their opponent. So, when Aaron Jones was having big chunk plays or, like and what's his name? Jameer Reed, is that his first name? The Reed, I don't remember his first
Yeah,
name. But
Jerry Reed.
yeah, they did really good, defending him, but that left Christian Watson open. It's almost like
Oh,
when
Romeo
our
Dobbs.
defense yeah, when our defense would fail, they would it's like they checked out themselves too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could see it, the players didn't care, and I we s like okay, I don't know what it is, but coach I actually talked to Micah's dad again after this game. I gave him a little bit to cool down, and I texted him Monday, and I asked him,
Mm-hmm.
well, I asked him if Micah was okay because I can only imagine how your son would feel, and he told me, and then he told me his thought was, "We need dogs." He said,
Mm-hmm.
"We need players that care and wanna play with passion," and he said, "We need dogs in every position." So even, players' parents are sitting here looking and at this team is the players check out. And so when something big happens and it's bad for us, it's like they give up. Um, and you can't give up in a game like that.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, it looked like we were just deflated and beaten. And instead of wanting to come out and like try to, we didn't even get a turnover. And we all know defense wins championships. I mean, you can call it garbage time. Eventually, like Marcus said earlier, Dak did get rolling. They had to put their starters back in at one point because Dak kind of made it interesting there at the very end. Not that
Yeah.
it was ever going to be caught up, but Dak did try. The defense, though, couldn't stop a runny nose. Like, they could like Dak wouldn't ever even if Dak would have gotten us back in that game, we would have never won that game because the defense could not contain their offense. We were
Yep.
done. That's just the way it was. So I look and I want to see uh I don't even know. I'm so frustrated. I'm sorry, guys. My mind's like in 30 different places. I'm frustrated because this team has the positions, the players and the skill positions to be successful, and it's not translating on the field. I don't understand why the defense played so well, lights out, especially the first 5 games. Like the defense was pretty good up until that San Francisco game. Arizona was bad, but we blew people out we were supposed to blow out. And then it started regressing. I don't know if you noticed that, but once the offense started rolling in the season, the defense regressed and it has slowly regressed each year. If you look at the points from when Dan first got here to now, I think we were allowing 18 points in 2021,
Mm-hmm.
2022 it was like 24, and now this year is 33. And that was with games where we were like blowing people out like they had like 7 points. So that's how bad it was. And no, Raphael, I promise my co-owner Tanya, I try to keep it professional. I won't cuss. Don't worry. That's part of the reason I'm stumbling over my words because I got a lot. I actually, y'all be shocked. I do. If you know me, Marcus can vouch
Yeah.
in the chat. I've got a mouth. So y'all should be really excited for me because I'm trying to remain professional. But I hope to see us utilize these players. And I think there's a lot of players we can let go. I'm almost at the point that maybe it's time to completely rebuild this team. You can look at some of these teams that are going from nothing to something. The fact that Texans are still in the playoffs is mind-boggling. Like it's bizarre to me. So I don't know. Marcus, do you think we're at rebuild yet?
Yes.
I do too.
100%.
Yeah, I think
salary cap purposes, we got a lot of big contracts that'll come due next year and the year after. We have 17 free agents this year, unrestricted. Taking a quick look at the list, I would be shocked if more than half of them return. And there's some pretty key positions in there also.
yeah, I'm Tyron Smith. I know people worry, but I'm really worried about what we're going to do at left tackle. I don't even know how our line's already so bad, and you take Tyron Smith. I hope he comes back for a year and let him not practice like we did last time, like we did the season that kept him healthy. But we're in a really big, bad situation. That's why I hope that y'all are not going to like what I'm about to say, but I think it might even be time to take some of our stars and see what you can get for them.
How big of a star are you thinking, Amanda?
Okay. Y'all don't get mad at me, okay? Look, Micah Parsons wants to win. CeeDee Lamb wants to win. They are not satisfied with winning in the regular season and flopping in the playoffs. And that's unfortunately what the Cowboys do lately. I mean, we've done it forever. I don't want to get rid of either of those players, but you kind of have to wonder, what can you get? Because I almost don't want to extend Dak Prescott this offseason either. I think we have to for cap purposes. But if you don't, and you don't give CeeDee a contract this year and you just let him play on that 5th-year option and then franchise tag him in an emergency, that's a big hit though. I think it's $17.9 million as a cap hit if you don't get a contract for CeeDee. So I think I'd shop a few people. I think I would shop I definitely shot Michael Gallup to see if anyone's crazy enough because he did have some flashes in that playoff game. I don't think anyone's crazy enough to take that option, but I would honestly almost shop Micah Parsons. I guarantee you someone will jump on that. I know people don't agree. Micah's our star player. I love Micah. I do not want Micah off this team, but I bet you could find someone that's a few pieces away that would give up big. I bet the Chiefs would even give up big money. Like there's some big opportunities there. So I don't know. And Deron Bland, that's another option.
That's actually the number one team I'm looking at.
Huh? What'd you say?
I said the Chiefs are the number one team might be looking at. The Chiefs are the number one team might be looking at with Gallup.
Yeah, I think so too. I just I don't know. I don't want to rebuild just for the fact that I don't want to go through what many of you probably remember, but at the same time, what else? What are we doing? What's regular season success except money in Jerry Jones's pocket? That's frustrating. That's all we're doing is putting money as fans. We're filling the stands because people win, but we can't succeed in the postseason. Regular season wins is not what football's about. It's about hoisting the Lombardi at the end of the year. Now, granted, only one team wins, but we're not even getting closer. We didn't even get as far as we did last year. So I just think our opportunity, we really missed out with Dak's rookie contract. That was when we really should have made a good push, and we didn't. So, yes, we did, Jeff. The Herschel Walker.
This is more off-season talk. Yeah, this is all-season talk, but let's just take a quick look at the free agents just so people can kind of know what we can expect. And I see my internet's kind of lagging a little bit, so Amanda, hopefully I don't get kicked out again this week. So just look at the free agent list so far. Tyron Smith, Tony Pollard, Gilmore, Armstrong. I mean, you see the top 6 guys on the list are all starters. And then you go Jonathan Hankins, Neville Gallimore, Tyler Biadasz. So you're looking at what's that, 11 starters out of 17
Mhm.
who are
Yeah.
unrestricted free agents that, looking at the list very quickly, I would be shocked if more than 3 guys return. So you're
Um,
talking about losing 8 starters out of 22. So you'll probably lose a third of your starters on offense and defense. And then I see a couple of backups on there also, Neville Gallimore, Chuma Edoga. So we got a lot to do this offseason.
and very little
And
to do it.
right. And then you still got to find a way to take care of CD Lamb. You just talked briefly about Dak. Micah Parsons is due money. So is he gonna, I almost cursed, is he gonna complain and try to get paid this offseason? You don't know. It's a lot of questions. And then you got to
Um,
replace all these starters.
yeah, and I just want to say I think Stephon Gilmore comes back on a cheap deal, and I really hope so because we don't know how Diggs is going to return.
Mhm.
I think Jerry and for the fans, like for what we're talking about, I want to make it known that Jerry Jones is not going to implode this team. Jerry Jones, his ego's too big to even let that happen. Um, he's going to extend Dak, and I really hope if I know Dak's going to be extended. We have to. It doesn't make sense not to. And my hope is that that Dak says, "Okay, give me 40 again. Don't make me the highest paid after what happened. Let me, let me, here, give me 40 on a 2 year. Um, bring that cap hit next year down. I know people don't want to extend Dak. I know, I get it. Dak has a no trade clause. You can't franchise tag him, and he's 59 million on the cap hit. And we have seven. How many starters? Do you say 7 that are all free agents? And you got to pay your draft class, which I think is 17 or 18 million. It may be more now. It's a bit okay.
It's
We're already
not that
13.
high.
Is it not? What is it? I thought it was
It's probably
17.
it's probably close. Well, I think it's closer to a 10, 11.
Okay.
The first 3 really take up the majority. So you're probably
Right.
talking about 11 there, and then it might be
Okay.
closer to 14.
Well, I thought I'd read 17, but either way, so you got to pay your draft class, and we're already 13 million over the cap. I know everyone's upset. I get it. But even if you were y'all, the quarterback market's a nightmare. Even if you were to cut Dak, you have to hope you hit on in the draft. We remember the revolving door before Romo and Dak. Well, some of you might not, but I remember the revolving door of quarterbacks. I hope that Dak says, "Here, give me 40. Let's build around me. We need a running game." Like, what? What? I'm hoping. Okay, look, is it okay?
That's a big hope.
I know, but he's got to just be in the quarter. Being a quarterback for the Cowboys comes with so many endorsements and everything else. I think Dak's on my TV every other commercial. That's what it feels like. So I don't.
Let me go
I
ahead.
don't
Go
know,
ahead. Sorry.
Marcus. It's just we're in a really tough spot. So I think you have to extend Dak. I think you have to, even though I don't want to, but I think you have to. And you got to shop somebody so you get some extra draft picks so so you can field a team. I hope Dak says, "Give me 40 again, give it on a 3 year." I mean, he's got a family he's about to start, and he's got a big old
Yeah.
house. If you've ever been out there, it's a really, really, really big house. Raphael, I get it, but the thing is, it could happen. I mean, with the way he played, I don't think it will, but I'm hoping. Okay, I'm trying to speak it. I'm going to go stand outside of his house with a sign that says "Take 40 million a year," and I'll videotape it live here. Okay, just please, Dak, are you in it? Maybe Dak, if everybody would get happy, maybe Dak would say, "Oh, and I want to ask the chat real quick. I have been thinking about this. I haven't posted it yet. If Dak Prescott was to request a trade, okay, because that's the only way we can get away around the no trade clause. Marcus, I
Uh-huh.
want your opinion here too. How would you feel if Dak did do that and left and won a championship? What would that make you see as the problem? I mean, I'm thinking people, it's happened. So I wonder, what would you think if that happened? Would that tell you that this team's I mean, we all know Jerry's a problem, but I don't know. I've wondered what would happen if Dak left and he ended up winning a Super Bowl.
It would depend on how long after he left he won. You saying like
Yeah.
he left and then the next year they won?
Yeah. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that like, uh, kill me? That'd be terrible. But I'm just thinking of the way that Cowboys fans can be crushed more and
Yeah.
more, and that seemed about right. Um,
You know,
So
somebody gave me this quote a couple years ago, and I always refer back to this when I think about quarterbacks. When you look at quarterbacks, the reason teams hold on to quarterbacks so long is because they would rather lose with the guy that they like than let that guy leave and he win somewhere else. So it's the fear of him doing better without them, even though they like him. And I feel like that'd be the same situation with Dak.
that's a good quote. I haven't heard it. I wondered if that it's just so bizarre to me because I think William just said the culture is the problem, and that's
Yeah.
really what it is in Dallas. And I think also with the star off a player's helmet, look at Cheeto. I mean, Cheeto went to the Super. I mean, they didn't win, but he went with the
Mhm.
Bengals. He's played much better in Cincinnati. Not this year, but he played better. The star gets off their helmet, and
Yep.
they do, and they play the spotlight, so to speaks, off of it. So
Great,
I
great
saw that.
example, Jeff.
I
Great
just
example.
it's crazy to me just to think of the
Yep.
situation we're in. So, and it's disheartening just to be stuck in this cycle that Jerry Jones seems to be okay with. I know he says he'd do anything to win. I know, he'd do anything to win again. But then why are you not doing it? The best thing to win would be to get out of your own way, Jerry. Go sit down on your yacht, fly in on your helicopter for games, leave football to the football people. You're not a football person anymore. You're close to being like in a nursing home. Just sit on the yacht. I don't mean that hatefully. I'm just saying, I mean, you're old, Jerry. Go home. Like he's too busy trying to be friends with these guys. So
Yeah.
no, they're
All right.
not.
All right,
Luna.
guys. We've ran it for 47 minutes. Thank you guys for sticking with us. We definitely appreciate all your support. Uh, the likes have started to go up, so let's get those likes matched with the views. So hit that like button. If you haven't done so already, join the DC4L Facebook group. Also hit that subscribe button at the DC4L YouTube channel. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button for me at Bluff City Cowboys. We're gonna move the show ahead. So because you guys have listened to myself and Amanda rant for 47 minutes, we are now going to do our first giveaway. And Amanda, let them know a little bit about the first prize we're doing.
So this is another hat from DeLunatic. In fact, you know what? I think we actually have two of them because last week wasn't claimed. So we could technically spin it twice, Marcus, if you want, and just
Okay.
do two hats. Because I just realized that the first hat wasn't claimed last year. As long as DeLunatic says that's okay in the chat, because he had donated two and it wasn't picked up last week. The winner didn't get it, but it's a really cool hat. It's a Cowboys hat, and it's got the autograph. Like each player, of course, has their own autograph, and it is embroidered on the side. They're really, really awesome hats. And we thank Luna for, sponsoring this again. He's been fantastic. So thank you for that. I wish it could have been on a better note and we'd be heading to the divisional round this week to play the Lions. That'd be really cool. But
Yeah. Yeah. I wish we could do a giveaway, a playoff win, Jeff. That'd be amazing.
me too.
And
Yeah.
one more thing, we'll move ahead. The Lions, the Detroit Lions, everybody think about this for a second. The Detroit Lions have a chance to go to the NFC Championship before we do. The Detroit Lions, who have won 0 playoff games and have not won a division championship since, what is it, 92, 91?
Yeah. A
And
long
they
time.
have a chance to go to the NFC Championship game.
And I think they're going to get there too. So I don't
I
think
think they
Baker's
will
going to
also.
beat him.
Yeah, that's insane. I agree.
Um,
Houston has a chance.
I hope they take down Lamar Jackson so that I can tell everyone I told you so. That's the only thing I'm going for. I guess I'm just cheering for the other Texas team at this point. Take down Lamar Jackson because he's got similar playoff issues that Dak has had. 1-3, right? I think.
Yep, they don't talk
So
about that though.
yeah, they don't talk. No, that's not part of the narrative. But
All right,
well,
guys. So I'm about to hit this button, and we will see who will win the first giveaway, which will be a hat.
congrats, Hiram. Hiram. I'm
All
sorry if
right,
I'm
so
saying that
Hiram B, congratulations, and make Hiram. Sorry, I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. Also, so I forgot to put the rules up.
wrong.
So the rules for the fifth quarter giveaway. You have to contact the man within 72 hours, or we probably won't be doing a show next week, but I will go live to do just a giveaway. Got to be a Cowboys fan. So Hiram, we will check your Facebook or your YouTube. Make sure you're a Cowboys fan. Got to be subscribing to the DC4L Facebook group and YouTube channel, and also Bluff Cities. And you guys have all done that so far. You got to give Facebook permission. So, Hiram B or Hiram B, thank you for joining. Um, Congratulations on winning, and contact Amanda on Facebook to claim your prize. All right, guys. So let's keep the show moving on. Next, we will talk about a couple of storylines. We've talked about them a little bit, but we'll expound upon them a little bit more. So both of our storylines tonight both have to deal with coaching. So as you guys know, earlier in the day, it was reported that Jerry Jones would meet with McCarthy later this week for a discussion. And then the news came out about an hour before the show started that Mike McCarthy has been confirmed to be returning to the Dallas Cowboys. So, Amanda, first, let me know your thoughts about Mike McCarthy returning.
Mike's a yes man. I wanted Mike to be gone. It's funny. I think if you're friends with me, I'm not friends with a ton of people on the page. I try to keep my personal life a little separate from the group, but some of you are, and you will see that I'm still waiting for my day 2 of Mike McCarthy not being fired. I really can't believe it. It tells me that Jerry is either senile, which may be it. I just don't understand. Have you seen his quote? I posted it. Did you see what he said? Marcus, did you see this is what Jerry had to say? And I'll read this for everybody.
Okay.
And I'll be quick. This is just an excerpt. It says, "I believe this team is very close and capable of achieving our ultimate goals, and the best step forward for us will be with Mike McCarthy as our head coach. There is great benefit to continuing this team's progress under Mike's leadership as our head coach. Specifically, there are many layers of success that have occurred this season as a result of Mike's approach and leading the team, both with individual players and with our team collectively. It says Mike has the highest regular season winning percentage of any head coach in Cowboys history, and we will dedicate ourselves in partnership with him to translating that into reaching our postseason goals. Certainly, Mike's career has demonstrated postseason success at a high level, and we have great confidence that that can continue." That is what Jerry said, and he went on and on and on, as Jerry tends to do. But when I read that, it told me that, okay, you're living in Mike's history of Green Bay, where Aaron Rodgers was his quarterback. Jerry, Aaron Rodgers is not our quarterback. There are so many, like Luna just said, there are so many good opportunities out there. There are great coaches available, and we're just going to let them pass us by. I'm sorry. I would have fired Mike if he hadn't have got us to an NFC championship game. I don't get it. Like, you can't keep repeating the same thing and expecting different results. That's the definition of insanity. And I have been a Dak supporter ever since Dak got there. I love Dak as a player and as a person, but Dak can't succeed in the postseason. So I also think it's time to move on. But Jerry again paid him too late. We could be on the last year of his deal right now, but Jerry again paid him too late, had to shell out more money. So I just look at it and I think that this is a terrible decision. And it tells me that Jerry doesn't really care about winning. Jerry cares about being right. So he's going to keep Mike McCarthy around, because if he got rid of him, that would say I was wrong. So that's where I'm at with the McCarthy thing.
Yeah. Kelvin Roquamore, looks like a new name, so thank you for joining us. Norcepheus, looks like a new name. Thank you for joining us from YouTube. Wherever you're watching from, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also hit subscribe on the other YouTube. Mine is Bluff City Cowboys, and then also the DC4L. So whichever one you're watching from, go to the other one and hit that subscribe button also.
Thank you.
Kelvin, I agree. We need linebackers bad. They was lost Sunday. 100% agree. The Lunatic saying 2 home playoff games. Both times we didn't show up. That says see you to me, but hello again to Jerry. When I look at this move, I'm lukewarm about it. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. personally for me, I don't think the coaches that are available would be able to do much better than Mike McCarthy. And that's just because of me coming to the realization I don't know if Dak can get the nerves out in the playoffs. I know a lot of people talking about Bill Belichick.
No. Sorry.
That
No.
wouldn't that wouldn't work. That wouldn't help, and he wouldn't come here because Jerry makes all the GM decisions. And Belichick for the past 25 years has bought the groceries and made the dinner. So that one wouldn't happen. Um, any of these other good coaches who are available, Jim Harbaugh's kind of the same way. He'd be a good possibility, but he likes to pick his own players as well. And any of the talented coaches that were available, I don't think Jerry would take them. We will probably get some retread guy, some rah-rah guy, or some guy who has close ties to the Cowboys community. So I think Mike, honestly, will probably be our better option, which is not saying much. What I'm halfway excited about, and I try to be half glass full on this, Mike McCarthy's been here for 3 years. For 2 of those years, he was not the offensive play caller. He
Right.
came in this year and in basically half a season, because the first season was just horrendous. In half a season, we had the number one passer, the number one receiver, we had a top 10 rusher, and our offense was tops in scoring. And that was with him taking half a year to get a transition and the other half to explode. So, half glass full, if he comes in with a full offseason and he can build upon what he did from weeks 10 to 17, we may have something. I don't know if they'll blow up in big games, but offensively, we should at least have something for the regular season. Um, and then when I look at the negative side of that, when we come back next year, are we going to see first half of the year Mike McCarthy offense or second half of the year? So that's concerning as well. Um, the thing that I think this move shows me the most is Dak and McCarthy are tied at the hip.
Yeah,
Um,
Dak said that if we're questioning Mike's job, then they better be questioning mine too. That was his
exactly,
exact words in the press conference.
exactly, and that's the scenario I see. I don't think Dak gets a extension this offseason. I wouldn't be shocked to see them restructure his deal and spread some of his cap into 3 dead contract years. So that's an option nobody talks about. Dak's due $60 million this year, right?
Yeah, I thought we already did that too, though. Don't we owe him money 2 years from now too? I thought we already had a
We
dead year in his hit,
we do.
right?
We do.
Okay.
But we could also extend that out and stretch it even more. So we would essentially be paying him where we'd have 4 years of dead money, but it would drastically reduce the cap this year. And glass half full, if we decide to move away from Dak next year, we may have a $15 million dead cap hit from Dak, but we have a rookie quarterback who's making pennies. So you'd have 4 years to absorb that Dak hit because you have 4 years of a cheap rookie contract. And I think that's probably what we're going to see happen this offseason. I feel like McCarthy getting one more year and Dak having one more year left is kind of saying you're either both going to be in or you're both going to be out. There's no reason to bring a new coach in right now if you know it's more likely than not Dak's going to be gone. Let the new guy come in, let him choose his own quarterback. So
Um,
that's kind of where I'm feeling ultimately about the whole Mike McCarthy thing.
okay, I want to make a comment. I see some that comment. You literally highlighted what I was
Yeah,
about to say. And look, okay, I know
I was
people are
reading your
all about.
mind.
I knew you were. You already know where I'm probably about to say too. I am so tired. Trey Lance was brought in. I'm telling y'all, Trey Lance, we kicked the tires on Trey Lance in hopes that he would say something about Kyle Shanahan's system. The man could not beat out Sam Darnold for a backup quarterback position. They paid out the bottom to jump up in that draft and get Trey Lance. Trey Lance, if he's not, I would be shocked if he's not traded this offseason, to be completely honest. I do not expect him to be. We have to either pick up his 5th-year option or this is the last year. His 5th-year option, I believe, is $23 million. That's what I believe it is. Okay.
Mhm.
Trey Lance is not good. There's a reason San Francisco did not keep him. You can say it's because Purdy came in and surprised him. But if he was good with Purdy already being injured, he would have been on their roster this year because Purdy was still lingering in the offseason with that elbow issue he sustained in the championship game last year.
Mhm.
He is not the answer. We need a rookie quarterback, and we've got to hope and pray that that Will McClay finds someone in the draft. That's all we. There's no one. If you go out in the open free agent market, you're going to be paying out the bottom because the quarterback market is a nightmare. We have to find. I don't want to. I don't know. Dak, most people don't realize Dak would have went in the second round, most likely if he didn't have had a DWI. Most people don't realize that before the draft, Dak had a DWI, and that's
Mhm.
why he fell further than he was supposed to. I think he was positioned to go in the second, right? So
Mhm.
we have got to find someone that we can pay pennies on the dollar because that's the new philosophy. In like there are, of course, hot shot quarterbacks. You've got people making big money. But let's look around the league at the players making big money and what success they've had. Okay, Justin Herbert, huge contract, got hurt midway, but even before that was doing nothing. I'm just Joe Burrow got hurt, nothing. Jalen Hurts made it to the playoffs, fell apart. All these big contracts. Brock Purdy still in the playoffs, making absolutely nothing. Baker Mayfield on a cheap 1-year deal. It's rinse and repeat now. It's going to be similar to the running back market. You use people during their rookie contract and then let them earn their big next contract somewhere else. That's the system. You have a few players that come and go that you're going to want to sign, like a CD and a Micah, and probably a Ferguson because Ferguson's really good. But you can find a tight end in the draft too. You can find one anywhere. There is no position that is necessarily tied down. So I'm just
Yeah.
saying, I think we have to find someone in the draft so that if we do move on from Dak at the end of 2024, we have this young quarterback who played a year under Dak, got some lessons because Dak has some good things about him. There are
Yeah.
good things Dak does. So that's what we've got to find somebody who can come in under Dak for a year and then take the reins because that person is not on our roster right now. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Sorry. That topic bugs me. I've argued it back and forth since we traded for Trey Lance. He is not the solution. That is not the solution. Not
Yeah.
unless you want to be maybe 5 wins.
Oh, the lunatic asked the question. So I'm sorry, Hiram or Hiram, please put it in phonetically because I hate mispronouncing people's names. Every few minutes, every 30 minutes or so during the show, if you leave a comment, we'll choose at random a winner, and that's how you won. So you left a comment earlier in the show. Our random generator chose you as the winner for our prize. Pretty simple. Just keep coming back, keep leaving great questions and comments, and you and everyone else has an opportunity to win. Now, just talking about the team and just free agency, like you were just talking about. I was gonna throw an off the wall question there. I mean, I'm already off the rails with ranting, so now I'll just throw out
Let's hear
idiotic scenarios that stuff I see other podcasters do that I hate to see them do.
it.
If we had to give up a 4th round pick for Mac Jones or Zach Wilson, how would you feel about that? Two guys that under rookie contracts with like 3 more years.
No, like that they we've already seen them in real gameplay though. They're not successful. And if Mac Jones can't have, any success brought out of him by Bill Belichick, who I mean, and I don't even like Bill Belichick, so that's saying something for me. No, not even. That's terrible. That's worse than Trey Lance. Look, everybody see, it's like I just I don't even know. Honestly, with the way Caleb Williams is running his mouth with all these rules and requirements for the team that drafts him, he may fall all the way down. Who knows? I don't think he really will. But he keeps asking all these different concessions that he wants.
Yeah.
He wants to own some of the team, and like it's bizarre. I don't even know. I haven't even began to look at who's coming out in this draft class. I don't even know I don't
The,
even know if it's a deep quarterback draft. Last year was very deep in quarterback, but I don't think it is if I recall.
no,
So
this is probably the deepest quarterback class in the past 10 years, easily.
yeah,
I
this
can,
one
I
coming
can,
up.
yes, I can name eight
Okay, good.
quarterbacks right. I can name eight quarterbacks right now. I'm taking the first round. Probably, probably six will go in the first round. Um, and with the whole NIL stuff, there may be a couple guys who commit just to get that bag because now they're paying transfers $500,000 to transfer. So
Yeah.
the numbers may change a little bit, but I can think of about eight guys who, if they were available in the second, I would run to the podium.
Well, I hope.
And I apologize for that, guys. That's the I don't normally go that route where I throw out the stupid hot takes to get reactions, but sometimes you got to get the engagements up, and that was one of those things that I've seen people do to get those engagements up. I apologize; it won't happen again.
I You can ask questions. I mean, we could. That's like me saying, "Okay, guys, we're gonna let Jerry be quarterback. He said he's gonna put it on. He's gonna do it himself." Okay. But no, just so y'all know, I don't watch a lot of college football. I watch the bowl games because I want to know, what seniors are coming out. But for some reason, I cannot, I cannot get into it,
Yeah,
and I can't believe we're actually having to discuss this because I really wanted this to be. We're heading
yeah,
in the divisional game. Uh, it's sad. But
yeah.
I honestly, first pick, if it's not an O line in this draft, we've got to do something about this O line. 3 Pro Bowlers and you can't run the ball. Like 3 all pros, like you're not going no. I can't believe it. So let's see. You've got former Pro Bowl Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, of course, Pro Bowl. And then you've got Tyler Smith, who's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Which that's a question I'll ask you. If Tyron doesn't come back, you moving Tyler out to left tackle?
No.
I'm not either.
Well,
He's
because
phenomenal.
they've proven he's a left guard. Tyron
Yeah.
missed several games. They didn't move him. We have a Sim Richards. We drafted him last year. You hope in year 2 he takes the leap like Terrence Steele did before his injury. So you got that guy here. You have a laundry list of tackles you've drafted in the past. The big kid from North Dakota. I think Josh Ball may still be on the team if he's on IR. So you've got young tackles who could possibly compete. I don't know if any of them will step up, but they're there. They're young. They're athletic. You got to hope one of them has developed enough to be able to take the spot. And also, I think the blocking scheme is going to change next year, so I think that'll help a new guy.
Well, I do.
Sometimes,
I actually go ahead.
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I actually, just so y'all know, I do think that Tyron comes back and gives it one more go. I think Tyron's got one more year, and I think he'll take a cheap deal. I would assume he would. I don't know why, but I know he wants to retire a Cowboy. That's something he stated in the past, and I think he could get one more year. I think you're going to get one more year out of Zach for sure. I'm surprised, honestly, but we've got very limited time. And Hoffman is like really cool. We were running the ball like crazy when he was out there playing for Zach
Uh-huh.
Martin. We were moving the ball, so we've got people. I
Yeah,
just hope that I hope we figure it out because
yeah,
we're running out of time.
yeah. I keep putting this comment up there. I'll take this from you, William Coulter, because you've been following me for a long time, and stupid. I call it a stupid comment. I just said it just to say it. I don't normally make stupid comments like that. All right, guys. Tootie Winder asked a good question. If we lose Quinn as coach, who y'all think will be the next DC? I think Al Harris.
Oh,
That does take us to our next storyline, which is Dan Quinn has started taking head coaching interviews. It's been reported that he just did his first virtual interview with the Carolina Panthers, and over the rest of this week, he has an interview tomorrow with the Titans and the Commanders. He has the Seahawks on Thursday, and he has the Chargers on Friday. So, Amanda, go ahead and start that thought that you were about to start after you saw that comment.
well, first off, I just want to say about Dan Quinn. I don't know how anyone would want to hire him with his Super Bowl, history that we have. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? The Super Bowl issue, biggest comeback against him. That's a pretty big, But I I don't want Al Harris, if that just to answer that question. Al Harris has already said that he is a position coach. He's not ready to take the reins. Like he's got no experience there. Y'all recognize this is what I think Cowboys Nation does, and I don't mean this any disrespect to anybody. It's just like with Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel. Cowboys fans see names and they're like, "Ooh, I know that name. I want to go grab that person." No, guys, that's what gets us where we're at. I mean, we went after Mike McCarthy because Mike was a name. Everyone was like, "Oh, I like, I knew who it was." Al Harris is not a DC candidate for us. If you're going to look into someone like that, I mean, maybe bring in Vrabel as your DC, but you need a good defensive, honestly, younger coach is where I'm at with that. Dan Quinn, if he can get a job after that disgrace of a performance by his defense on Sunday, good for him. I hope he finds a job somewhere, and I hope he takes it because something's got to give. That was, I don't understand what happened, but yeah, I'm not worried about Dan leaving. I was, and I'd been telling everybody, anyone who knows me and has seen me in the group, I literally said, Dan's not going to leave. Dan's not going to leave. I've been saying that this whole time. Now I'm afraid it's probably going to be right because of the performance from Sunday. Like, let him go. Someone come take this man off our hands. That's the only way we're going to get out of this coaching situation we're in is if someone offers him a job. And yes, any Shanahan, exactly. I don't know what to do. There are other people out there we can find. We need to find someone that is new, younger, and that demands respect from their players. I know our players love Dan Quinn. I know that. He excites them. I want to keep Al Harris exactly where he is because he gets the best out of our DBs. I mean, he does great in that position. But we need someone who's ready to make adjustments, who is not stuck in the old game. Sean Lee, I want to be the linebacker coach so bad, Jeff. That's my favorite Cowboy ever. I love Sean Lee, so I would love to see him come in, but I don't think he wants to coach. I've heard rumors that Jason Witten's moving up maybe to the college world, so maybe that's someone that comes later and to be like a tight end coach for the Cowboys. That'd be really neat. But I don't know, Marcus. Who would you bring in? Because I want Dan Quinn out the door. Because if not, we're going to be in the same situation next year.
Okay. Let me give a little bit of coaching history for a lot of you guys who are saying Al Harris. We do have a guy on our staff named Joe Witt. And for some reason, people have associated Joe Witt with Dan Quinn. When in all actuality, Joe Witt is a Mike McCarthy guy because Joe Witt was with Green Bay from 2008 to 2018. When Mike McCarthy got fired, Joe Witt got fired also. Joe Witt went with Dan Quinn for one season in Atlanta, and then they both came to Dallas. So Joe Witt was just as much a Mike McCarthy hire as he was Dan Quinn. So I know people saying if Dan Quinn leaves, Joe Witt's going to go with him. That's probably not the case because, again, Joe Witt is a Mike McCarthy guy, and I think he would rather be here with McCarthy where he can have his own defense. He knows the players, and he has a chance to build his own scheme rather than following Dan Quinn, and you're pretty much just holding the clipboard for him. So in my opinion, I think overwhelmingly Joe Witt will probably be the DC. A little bit more backstory. Al Harris, the reason he's coaching here is because Joe Witt was his DB coach in Green Bay. When Al Harris retired, he went under Joe Philbin, another Mike McCarthy protege, and that's where he got his internship from. And then he came here, not because of Dan Quinn, but because of Mike McCarthy. So I feel like if Dan Quinn leaves, you're almost definitely going to keep Joe Witt and Al Harris here for all of you people who are concerned that they might leave. Joe Witt has no real affiliation with the Legion of Doom Dan Quinn scheme. He's really just here because Mike McCarthy, and he just so happened to work 1 year with Dan Quinn. I don't know. And again, I feel like this is all kind of transition period. So if Dan Quinn leaves, I don't think they would bring a guy in to change a lot of what we do. So I almost definitely feel like Joe Witt would be the guy. And of course, you throw him a boatload of money, he's not going anywhere anyway.
Um,
Now there are a couple names I like, but I just feel like Joe Witt is the obvious one there.
yeah, I didn't even think about Joe Witt. Definitely an option, and he has the players' ear already. He knows the players, and I think, like I said, Al Harris needs to be where he needs to be. Right, he's where he needs to be. Like he has
Mhm.
brought out amazing. He's brought out greatness and everybody really that plays. Who's he's coaching. So I'll just keep him where he's at. He gets paid well anyway. So oh, that's true, Luna. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's kind of the eyes and ears on the field while Dan Quinn's in the press box. Uh, and Raphael asked a great question. What do you think would be Joe Witt's scheme? I mean, personally, like I just said, I think we have 1 year and then this thing gets blown up. So I would feel like you would probably see the same scheme we have now. The only difference would probably be, and I'm not sure about this, Dan Quinn is the one who loves small linebackers. So I'm not certain. I feel like Joe Witt would bring in some more traditional linebackers because I know you go back to Atlanta, you look at Alua Khan, the undersized linebacker who got a ton of tackles. Dan Quinn likes that style of linebacker. He's drafted it here since he's been here. So you would hope Joe Witt may go back to a more traditional, but I think the scheme itself would be the same because Joe Witt cut his teeth in the league as a defensive backs and passing game coordinator. So I don't think he would change the actual scheme of our cornerbacks and safeties.
I just hope we go back to linebacker was our point of weakness. We had LVE, which now we all know LVE was not drafted by Dan Quinn. But when he went down, he was a big guy. That was, when we lost to him, it's kind of the holdover, I guess you would say, from the Garrett age. Would you say that?
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like a holdover in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the right size. I do hope we go back to that. I mean, I think I'd use Micah. I mean, look at what Micah was drafted in, and now we've moved him. I miss when Micah played linebacker more. I mean, his speed is great. His size is perfect. I hope whoever comes in, if I really hope someone comes in, first of all, but I hope whoever comes in goes back to playing a normal style when it comes to your linebacker. That
Mm-hmm.
is a point of weakness because when you've got these guys coming at you and you've got these smaller linebackers that are undersized, not normal, you're not matching up well with what natural people do. Dan Quinn's scheme works in certain situations, but for an aggressive team, they're going to attack that as a point of weakness. And that's what happened. That's what a lot of these players are doing. And really, does anyone else use, these hybrid safety linebackers? I can't think of any other team no. So we're really the only team. And no, Bruiser, I think he retires, which is
The,
sad.
the only other team that does something similar is Jacksonville, and that's because you have Gus Bradley, who a little bit of history for the fan base. Gus Bradley is actually the architect of the Doomsday defense. I mean, not the Doomsday, the Legion of Boom is not Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn is essentially the Barry Switzer to Gus Bradley's Jimmy Johnson. Gus Bradley put it together. Gus Bradley had success. He took another job. Dan Quinn filled his slot, and then they won a Super Bowl. So that's really Gus Bradley's scheme, not Dan Quinn's. So Jacksonville and us are the only teams who really run that scheme, and that's why Alua Khan, when he left Atlanta, he went to Jacksonville. Same
Makes
scheme,
sense.
undersized linebackers.
Um, just on that again, yeah, Bruiser, I don't think so. I don't think you mess with the neck. And this is like
Yeah,
I mean, he was hurt all through college, same injury. I just don't think so. I think it in the best interest of his wife, his kids, I
yeah.
think he retires. So
Yeah, he'll be a high school football coach. He'll be a Cowboys media guy with with some of the other former guys that we've had on the team. He'll be around, but I don't think it'll be as a player. I agree.
Agree. Yeah.
TC915 saying no more hybrid, nothing. Get us some real linebackers that weigh more than a paper plane.
Yes.
Definitely hope so. Yeah. Also get us some bigger defensive tackles as well.
Can we just one real quick? This draft class, I'm excited to see Overshone. I really think he will help, but he's also a smaller size linebacker, smaller size guy.
Yeah.
But this draft class was pretty bad. I mean,
Yep.
I know. I mean, you look at in years past, like players that came in and made instant impacts. Now, look, all players aren't going to transition immediately to the aren't going to transition immediately first year. I know that you have to get used to the speed side, the way the NFL works. But this draft class was bad. Mozzie, I really hope he takes that next step, but I'm afraid not. Ferguson has made our second round pick look ridiculous. Like the scoot, yeah, the yes, Jeff, scoot maker. Like even Hendershot is contributing more on special teams than Schoon is. So I don't know. I'm really upset. There was another one. What's the tight ends? Was there another tight end? Eric, is that his name? Who's
That's the corner. Eric Scott was the 5th round pick, the
the one that?
cornerback.
Yeah, that's it.
Got Junior Fehoko, the 4th round pick, who was healthy and active the entire year.
Yeah.
Didn't play a single snap on the defense. That one bothers me more than anything because he does not fit this team. He doesn't play defensive tackle. He doesn't play defensive end. What is he there for?
There it is, John Stevens Jr. Yeah,
I think that was the undrafted guy who showed a lot of promise in the offseason. Mendoza was very high on him. And I think he got put on IR before the season started.
ACL, right? Wasn't it didn't he tear an ACL the same time that Overshone did, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lunatic, that's Eric Scott, the corner we traded up to get. That Dan Quinn handpicked, and we probably won't even get to see what he can do in Dan Quinn's scheme. Jeff, good question. Take Sam Williams off special teams as a gunner. It's a nice concept. He's definitely athletic enough to do it, but like you said, mentally, just not there.
That's someone I think that no one really realizes how much we really miss. CJ Goodwin, we really, really missed him this year. He's not a free agent either, so I think he's coming back, right? He's not a free agent this year, is he?
Oh yeah, he's been getting 1-year deals for the past 4 or 5 years.
Okay, I didn't remember. But we'll see. We've got a lot of heading into this off season. We are going to have to make some tough decisions, and we're going to have to see what they do. I hope they bring Gilmore back. Biotish has got to be re-signed. I don't see any other way to move on. Do you think, like, you can't just try to find your left tackle, your center? Like, you can't completely change up your whole line. We got to re-sign Tyler, don't we?
I think we should, but I don't think we will.
You don't?
I don't, and it's not because I don't think they want them. Offensive line in the NFL is not being played at a high level. And it's going to be a similar situation to Jeremy Parnell. I'm going way back when he signed the big contract. Connor McGovern last year. Some of these teams are going to get desperate and offer him $8, $9, $10 million. And we just can't match it. So it's not that I don't think we want him. I just think some team is going to throw so much money at him that he'll be an idiot not to take it, because he is a fairly talented center who has 4 years of NFL starting experience. You can't. That's going to be a high value,
Right?
And like you brought up before, Hoffman can play center, and he can slide right in. And we also have the undrafted guy we got too.
Someone said something over here. I'm trying to figure out where it went. Who was it? Someone brought not Aubrey. I'm trying to see where it went. It disappeared on me, but I can't remember what it was.
Was it number 9 for the Cowboys?
Oh, number 9. That's what it is. Yeah, Turpin's on the last year of his deal this next year. We signed him for a 3-year deal. Thank you, Marcus. Yeah, Turpin will be here next year. I don't see, he's pretty inexpensive. I don't know why you'd get rid of him. So.
Randy Gregory 2.0.
To a T, too, actually. To a T.
And good point, the lunatic. McGovern got paid. I think you can expect Biotish to get paid along those same lines, $7-8 million a year. There's no way we can match that.
That'll be a good, pretty good comp pick, though. At least
Yeah, it
McGovern
will be a good comp pick.
and Dalton Schultz should be another one. Noah Brown's even playing at a high level. He'll give us one, right? I'm trying to think of all the people that we.
Uh, Noah Brown. It those comp picks, the calculation is so tricky. It would depend on whether or not when we traded for Brandon Cooks, was it within a window where we count towards the calculation?
Okay.
Because a part of it is the guy that you trade, the guy that who replaced him, how did he do over the guy that you lost? So those
Okay.
two may cancel each other out, but I'm not sure how the timelines and the windows and stuff work.
Right.
And the lunatic, thank you for backing us up. Only 2 5th-round comp picks, one from McGovern, one for the Houston tight end
Schultz.
Schultz.
Okay.
Tootie Winder, he's asked a question a couple times about Trey Lance. We have to make a decision about his 5th-year option. Do you think we keep him here, Amanda? Like, do you think, because we can not accept the 5th-year option, just play him on the last year of his deal? Do you think we even do that?
I would, if I'm the team. Cooper Rush has played in situations and won football games. Played with this team and won football games. I'm looking at, and I would think that if Trey Lance was showing promise, that you would at least have him active with the way we were blowing people out. You would think you would want to get him on the field and see what he can do. I would try to trade him to somebody. I think I would try to find a suitor for a 5th or a 4th because we're in such rough shape, or find, maybe make it a package deal, a Trey Lance and a Michael Gallup for somebody. I don't know if anyone would do that, but I think I would try to incorporate him into some kind of package deal to offload some of our cap issues. I know we're not taking the 5th-year option. The money is just outrageous. No one's doing that. And that's very possible, Luna. I think that's a very good option. I would try just, hey, he's tell people this is where he's at. You can come and look at Trey. I'd put videos out there to let him go. I don't think he's going to be here. I'd be shocked if he was here on this roster next year, because Cooper has in-game experience. He has won this team. He's been with this team many times, and he signed a 2-year deal last year, right? It was 2 years, wasn't it?
He did, yeah.
It was a 2-year deal. So he's still got another year on his deal. So I just think it would be irresponsible and ridiculous to cut the proven player who has started for the team and won all but one game against the team that ended up going to the Super Bowl and representing the NFC. I think it'd be idiotic to let Trey Lance take his position.
Yeah, so. William Coulter makes a great point. Russ was sick last game, and we still chose him over Lance.
I think that says plenty.
Yep. All right, guys, we're at an hour 28. The views are still going up, so thank you guys for listening to myself and Amanda rant for an hour and a half, and also throw in some great questions and comments in between our rants. I really appreciate you guys' support. So with that being said, Amanda, do you want to give away the second hat and then close it out with the jersey? All right, guys, so we're going to do another giveaway, and this time we'll be giving away a second hat. So as you guys know, in order to win, all you have to do, leave a question and a comment. I'm going to do a reset on this. So Hiram, you see, you were the last person that won. So I'm going to hit the button again to do another reset and pick another person. And I'll put the rules up there one more time. You must contact Amanda Foster on Facebook within 72 hours to claim your prize. You have to be a Cowboys fan. So if you do win, we will, if you're a Facebook user, we will check your Facebook page. And the best way to help us do that is that you have to follow our Facebooks and our YouTube so that we can quickly trace your profile to make sure you are a Cowboys fan. And you also have to give us permission to see your name. I just looked this up, and even with the software, if they don't have your name, they don't enter you in the drawing either. So you're automatically not even in the drawing, even if you left questions and comments throughout the show. So I see we got a couple of people leaving some more comments trying to get in last minute. Jeff, I used to do this on the old podcast, but this is a live show. We don't have a delay, so I can't hit that hang up button fast enough sometimes. So I have the capability to take phone calls, but I don't think I'm gonna try it unless we really get on a roll again. Okay, so I'm gonna hit this button and we're going to see who our next winner is. Looks like the entries have gone up, so let's see what happens.
Good luck, everybody.
Elazar
Hey.
Mendoza, longtime follower. Thank you for tuning in, and you come in just in time to win this hat. So, like I just said before, contact Amanda Foster on Facebook to claim your prize.
Yeah.
Well, the lunatic, even if I choose from verified numbers, I mean, Cowboys fans who are calling from verified numbers can still go pretty off the rails when it comes to phone calls. I tried that in the past. It didn't work out more than it did. So maybe I'll try it again if I could screen the callers and choose exactly who I want. But outside of just putting the number up here and letting people call in, I don't think I'll be trying it again anytime soon. TC915 saying he wanted the lunatic hack on the Pick Six show. That's former Star Gang, Pick Six Sports. Great group of guys over there. The lunatic gives to a lot of different podcasts, so we definitely appreciate your support of the podcasters community, the lunatic.
Yes, sir.
And Mendoza, once again, make sure you contact Amanda for that hat. Unfortunately, you can't win twice in one show, so you are out of the drawing for the jersey we're going to do in about 15 to 20 minutes. All right, so that's pretty much all the topics I got. I do have a couple of questions I want to throw out there because I love getting fan engagement and getting your thoughts. So I'm just going to put a couple questions out there, and Amanda, you give your thoughts, and everybody in the fan base give your thoughts as well. So, first question is, what do you expect to see changed in 2024 on this team outside of Dan Quinn leaving? That's a big one, but what do you expect to see changed in terms of personnel, scheme, um, coaching staff outside of Dan Quinn? Any
Um,
philosophy changes?
Unfortunately, I think that Jerry blows these coaches' egos up even further than they need to be, and we're gonna dedicate ourselves to doing um whatever Mike wants to do. I think we're gonna see a lot of the same things on offense. I hope that it progresses because, like you said, it got better once we got through that bye week. We really showed we played really well. I don't know how you fix Dak's big game moment issue. I don't know how you fix that. I don't know if there is a way to fix that. So I would like to see a strong running game, which is what we were told from the beginning. Mike said we were going to do is run the ball,
Yeah,
but we didn't. So uh, I would like to see what is it, Schlottenmeyer? I can't say that name to say Brian
Schottenheimer, Brian Schottenheimer.
Schottenheimer. Yeah, Brian Schottenheimer. I'd love to see him call the plays. I think Mike's got too much on his plate. I also would like to see a new quarterback coach come in.
Okay.
I'm not high up on where we're at. I think Dak's Dak's getting better. He played great. No one can say he didn't have a great regular season. He did. But I want to see a better running back, a new coach, a new a running back coach, and a quarterback coach. And then I do not want to see good old Mike calling the plays. I'm going to agree with that completely. Whoever said that, that's the yeah.
Yeah.
And focus on running the dang ball. Like, I don't know how hard that is the bread and butter. And then as for the defense, I hope we get back to a more standard. I want to get back to a more standard traditional defense, and not let people use it against us. They take our differences and turn it into our weaknesses. So I'd like to see us get away from that.
Mm-hmm. I see we got my guy Jay in the Bay joining us. What's good? This is a diehard Niners fan, a regular on the show. Whenever we play the Niners, he always comes in and gives us some great content. So for you guys who still follow the playoffs, if you want to hear some good content about some of the teams who are still in the playoffs, this is a guy you guys definitely want to follow. Even if you're not a Niners fan, it's going to be entertaining, it's going to be informative, and it's always going to be a good show with Jay and the Bay. So I see we got a couple of comments coming in. William Coulter saying apparently nothing. I'll come back to your question, Jay and the Bay, in a second. Bruiser saying a better running game. Jeff saying an aggressive approach to getting players. Raphael reiterating what William Coulter said, nothing much because we kept Mike McCarthy. Tootie Winder saying defense and running back. And then Hector Rosario saying Jerry probably won't change much. Hiram, get the running game going. Stephen Copmills, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you for joining us all the way from Australia. Always good to see Cowboys fans internationally. I'm sorry that they gave you the disappointment that they did last week, like the rest of us, but appreciate you being a Cowboys fan from across the pond. B. Neil Christian saying with Diaz coming back, Bland will cover more slot for him. And then Jeff saying you run the ball more with a better running back. The Lunatic kind of talking about Brian Schottenheimer. Definitely. B. Neil Christian saying I think we get King Henry or Zeke. A lot of good comments coming in. Hiram, another wide receiver. Hector Rosario saying go away from the we like our guys and get some high caliber free agents.
For real.
The Lunatic, I wish we do this. And this one bothers me so much. I used to talk about this all the time in the past. If we're playing a team and you see something that they do and it's effective, why don't we try it in that game, try to implement it in the next game, try to use it somewhere? Because I can think of so many games where we see teams doing stuff on us. And it's like, why can't we try that one time? I just like Jakira Gadsden. I did not see the Dez Bryant interview, but I will check that out as soon as the show is over. Cy Witherspoon saying, I feel if we want to win, we have to adapt. I think we'll definitely see Ferguson get more involved next year. I definitely think we'll need some more traditional linebackers. Yeah, Jay and the Bay, we talked about this before, how the Shanahan offensive coordinators are Mike McCarthy's Achilles heel. They all just run shop through us. So Jay and the Bay asked a question earlier. Let me go back to it really quick. He asked the question, were we happy with McCarthy back? If you go through the show earlier, Jay and the Bay, the answer was pretty much a consensus no.
And we're both kind of just, Marcus and I are both kind of meh. It just says we're okay with mediocrity, and it's irritating. As a Cowboys fan, I mean, it's getting kind of pathetic. Mediocrity is what we've been stuck with forever. Great regular season, terrible in the postseason. I mean, as Cowboys fans, we're tired of it. And by saying, hey, Mike's coming back, yay, good. No, it's not yay. It's saying that it's okay with we're accepting what's being put out before us. So we're not too happy, but there's really nothing we can do, of course.
Yeah. So let me say this about what I expect to see. And this is me being optimistic. You guys know I'm pretty optimistic. I talked about this earlier in the show. Mike McCarthy's first year calling plays. I expect next year to see Mike McCarthy open up the scheme a little bit more. It's hard to make guys go from what they've done forever and try to change them to doing something different. And when I say that in particular, I mean, we talked about this earlier in the year. All of our receivers have been 6'2", 4'5" guys. They've all been hitch, curl guys. McCarthy tried to implement a little bit more movement. We started running more drags. We brought the slants back into the scheme. We brought more out routes. So we got guys moving more instead of standing in one spot catching the ball or running 10 yards, turning around and showing your numbers. So I hope that we see more shifty wide receivers coming to this game. I'm expecting to see more of what he did in Green Bay. So we'll have more of the 5'11", 6 foot, 4'3", 4'4" receivers, kind of like the Jalen Tolbert types. With that being said, I expect to see him utilized more. Um, I think we have to see more two tight end sets because we used the second round on Schoonmaker, and Jake Ferguson's not coming off the field. So you got to find a way to use both of those guys if you can't trade Schoonmaker. Uh, I plan on seeing more Schottenheimer concepts. We used to run a lot of outside zone in years past. We tried to do the inside zone earlier in the year. The running game wasn't successful because our offensive linemen could not get to the second level. I don't know if it's not athleticism, so it just has to be um, mental capability. And not saying the guys are slow or dumb. It's you've been doing one thing for 7 years. It's hard to change to something different overnight. So second half of the year, we started running more outside zone concepts where the running backs could kind of stretch it and cut up. Um, I think we're going to start seeing that more consistently. And I think we're going to see, like, I know you say you think Tyron Smith's going to come back. Personally, I hope he comes back. I don't think he's playing anywhere else. But I think we're going to see some offensive line changes because I feel like if Schottenheimer's here and Mike Solaris, our offensive line coach, he likes a certain type of offensive lineman. And in my opinion, Tyler Biotis doesn't fit the type of offensive lineman he likes. So I think we probably bring in uh, a slightly more athletic offensive lineman. And I think Hoffman can be that guy. If they don't want to give him opportunity, we'll probably bring somebody in. Um, Tyler Smith can fit any scheme, so if he wants to come back, he can. But if he doesn't, I think Asim Richards was drafted because he's a Mike Solaris guy. And I think he wants to give him a shot because he likes young, athletic tackles. That's why I say Tyler Smith can fit. So I expect to see a lot of stuff change on the offensive side of the ball. I expect to see that 2015, 2016 Green Bay Packers offense being implemented more. And I do expect for the fan base who wants to say they want to see Derrick Henry come here, they want to see Zeke come here. When I look at Mike Solaris' offensive scheme and Schottenheimer, they like one cut running backs, basically like Alabama running backs. You go look at Green Bay, you look at they had I can't even think of any of the fat running backs they had, but those are Mike Solaris type running backs. Derrick Henry fits that to a T. So I think we're going to see Derrick Henry or a big running back like that come here. So I'm sure the fan base will love to see that.
I mean, I think the fan base just wants to see something that I mean, we were really happy about the Cooks trade, the Gilmore trade, and those both came really, they were big trade. I want to see more of that, more aggression. Um, Tootie, Brandon Cooks has one more year on his deal. I'm sure they're going to have to restructure it because it's a little bit high. I think, if I'm correct, because it's the last year of his deal. But
Uh,
I expect it.
I
Is it
think they
9
restructured it
million?
last. I think they
Did
restructured
they?
it last year to cut it down to 7.
Okay, well that's not too
It's
bad.
still kind of high, but yeah, I think it
But
was cut
Gallup
down.
will be gone, and Luna. So DeAndre Swift is a Philadelphia native, if I'm correct. I believe
Mhm.
I did the research on that.
Yep.
While he might run with speed and anger, he hates the Cowboys. I don't think you could pay him enough money to come here. I just don't expect him to. Um, but I do expect him to try to get away from Philly because losing their center with Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson's talking about retiring. They are in a world, I think they might be in a worse situation than we are. They're in a really, I mean, AJ Brown left, it looks like leaving the organization with the lights on. So,
Dallas
but I
Goddard
don't think,
giving the middle finger to the quarterback.
yeah. Oh, that was crazy,
Mhm.
man.
I
But,
loved it.
I mean, I did too. I had to watch that game to feel better. It made me feel better. So that's why I watched the Eagles game, was to feel better. But I just don't expect to see Swift here. Anyway, hey, whatever gets the job done. Okay, run the ball. Let Dak throw 20 times a game. Use the run game to open up the passing game. Dak can make the throws if the people are scared of what you've got on the
Yep.
line, like they were with Zeke for years. But they're not scared of our running backs anymore. Tony Pollard, God love the guy. He's just not a number one. That's a big mistake we made. We had to get rid of Zeke's contract, but we didn't bring in anyone to really go with Tony. We expected Tony to just fall right in. Tony's not the
Yep.
big enough guy. I would love to see Derrick Henry here. That's one of my favorite players, and he's an amazing guy. Like off the field, Derrick Henry's a phenomenal human. So I'd love to see him come here. A lot of the fan base is calling for that. So I sure hope so. I heard there's interest. My concern is injury. He's got some injury issues. So we need to have keep Dowdle as the backup. I'd love to see that too. I think that actually might happen this year. It would not surprise me if we saw Zeke come back very cheaply, because I don't think Tony's staying. Henry and Zeke together, my goodness.
Yep. So I'll say this about free agency. The running back position has been devalued. We all know that. This is going to be by far the deepest running back free agent market the NFL has ever seen. There's going to be at least 15 running backs who are all 28 and under who could come in and be either a bell cow back or a very good 1A running back. I mean, I can name you some names. And
Barkley.
I mean, I got the list right here. Henry, Jacobs, Tony Pollard, of course, Barkley, Austin Eckler, Zeke, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who was a first-round pick 3 years ago, DeAndre Swift just coming off a good year, Damian Harris, former New England Patriot, didn't play a lot last year, but 2 years ago had 17 touchdowns for New England. J.K. Dobbins, former second-round pick, dealing with some injuries, but when that guy plays, he can go. People love Kareem Hunt. He's going to be available. Rashad Penny, another guy who's talented, former first-round pick, just dealt with a lot of injuries. Antonio Gibson from the Commanders, second-round pick, gives you everything you want, big guy who can catch out of the backfield. Zach Moss had a great year for the Colts this year. Marlon Mack, another young guy who had a couple of good games a couple years ago. I mean, that's just like, I named you like 12 names. 9 of those guys are number one guys on most teams. And that's just that's the first wave. Dalvin Cook, thank you, Hiram. Dalvin Cook's another guy, 28 years old. Didn't play a lot last year. He could get an opportunity. That's just from the guys who are going to be free agents. There are going to be some guys that are cut. There's going to be some guys available for trade. So we pretty much are going to have our pick of running backs, because with all these guys available, the contracts are not going to be expensive, except for the top 2 to 3. Anything below top 2 to 3, you're probably looking at $6 million or less. So we could easily come in here and package together 2 running backs, like you mentioned, a Henry or a Pollard. I think you can get both those guys for under $12 million total.
Well, I hope we bring someone in. I know we need to do something, and I love going to the draft. Don't get me wrong, but I think we have way too many positions of need, and I think running back is extremely deep in free agency. Like Marcus just said, I think if I was in charge, I'm going to get a running back. I might grab my backup, in the draft, but I'm taking a running back that's proven, that's fantastic, and I'm going to bring him in as my bell cow back and maybe find his backup in the draft. That would be my goal. Because there's too many good proven running backs that are going to be available. And like Marcus said, super cheap, because we got a lot of holes we're going to have to fill, and that draft's going to be important. I don't think running back's the place to go, because some of our holes you're not going to find out in free agency that are going to be successful. So you have to really utilize our free agents in our draft.
Yep.
We have to look at what's available in free agency and not available in free agency, so we can draft the ones that aren't available and then grab the ones that are. And running back's going to be a position we can get easily just by
Uh-huh.
going out and basically throwing it, go fishing. We're going to pull something back. So,
Yeah. And this is free agency talk. I'm really good with free agency. I do a lot of research on free agency. I'll throw this comment out there. If you look at this year, a lot of these top running backs had down years. Derrick Henry, that's probably the name I'm going to be focusing on this offseason. Had a down year, lost a lot of snaps in that offense. He's not going to be able to get a lot in free agency. He's 250 pounds. He's 20. He's 30 years old. He may have 1 year left, but a lot of teams are going to shy away from that. I think we can get him dirt cheap. I don't think we're going to get Pollard because we have Kellen Moore in LA, and I don't think they like Austin Eckler, and Pollard could be a better version, a better younger version of Eckler. So I'm looking for Pollard to go to LA,
yeah,
but
with
that
Allen.
leaves Eckler wide open for us, who when playing in a secondary role was better than Pollard. So that could be almost a swap.
Hmm.
All right. See, maybe Barkley's gonna. I think they're gonna be 2 to 3 running backs who get $10 million. I think
And
Barkley's gonna be
Barkley's
one of
one of
three.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no way the Giants can let him go after the way they stumbled at quarterback. They have to. He has to be their saving grace now because
Mhm.
you can't prop up Daniel Jones as the face of the franchise anymore. Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, look at the offense he was on. Imagine Henry with a line that would dominate. Yeah, Dalvin Cook. Jeff asked with Derrick Henry where Emmett's number. Definitely not.
No, that's just one of those numbers we don't give out. There's a few, we don't retire numbers as Cowboys, but everybody knows the numbers we don't give out.
Yep.
22, 12, 8. Those numbers just don't they're available but not available. It's just this weird thing that we've done. No one asked for them, I'm going to guess. So,
Yeah. Now this is another one of those guys. If I'm in the second round and I see this name pop up, we run to the podium. If I'm within 10 picks of Blake Corum, running back from Michigan, I run to the podium. This guy can come in and be an immediate impact guy day one on this team. But I feel like I don't know who's coming out of Bama, but I think the Bama style of running back is going to be the type of running back we go for next year, based off where I expect the offense to be. TC915 saying the disrespect for 88.
Okay, on that note, I want to say this was actually something that was discussed by Drew's talked about it. Sorry, Drew's talked about it. Michael's talked about it. Michael was very vocal about it this year. He said, if you retire the number 88, then no one talks about you. People know you as like an image. But with CD wearing it, everyone's comparing, hey, look, he just broke your record. Great. He literally said, let them talk about me. Because when they talk about CeeDee Lamb wearing my number, the 88, oh, he does this better than 88, or oh, he's not as good as Michael. He wants his name talked about. So he was actually really excited about the 88. He said he wants it given out to whoever can get it, I guess, whoever deserves it. So yeah, he didn't have no problem with that. And I agree. I don't like retiring numbers. I get a few numbers are special and like sacred, but I'm not a retiring number person. I mean, there's only so many numbers. So
Yeah, I didn't get the Antonio Brown one either, TC915, but nobody's perfect. All right. First question was, what do you expect to see change? Second question, what would you like to see changed in 2024? This one is where you get to voice your opinion on what would you like to see changed in 2024 on this team.
Oh, you want me to go,
Something that's
huh?
real, something that's realistic, guys. Don't tell me that you want to see McCarthy get fired, even though he just said he's going to stay. Give me something that could be somewhat realistic on what you would like to see changed 2024.
I want the culture in the Cowboys locker room to change. I want people to stop doing so many commercials and get more focused on the football game. All these podcasts, all this stuff that they're doing that have become new media streams. Look, I get it. It's something to do. Do it in the off season. Focus on football. Quit putting you're putting a target on your back by going out there and speaking and talking all this. Like Micah finally got a holding call. We all know that finally. But I'm telling you, you're putting targets on your back when you're out there running your mouth. I love that Micah speaks his mind. Do not get me wrong. But you need to really sit back and like I want you to focus on football and how to succeed. Um, yeah, I want the culture to change in Dallas. Friendship is not this is a football business. This is I want you to you're here to play football, you're not here to be my friend. If you're not doing your job, I want you to be put on the bench, teach lessons. I mean, the mindset in the organization has to change. I know the star makes you an easy target already. You're already going to be held to a higher standard because of the team you play for. Okay, that's fine. Sit there and work for it and quit making people be able to talk bad about you. Just put your head in the game. Keep your head in the game. Get yourself moving. That's what I want to see. I want to see the culture change in Dallas. Des, I haven't seen the video, but I want to see the passion and stuff. Start getting like show passion for what you're doing. They all look defeated when they were sitting there on the sideline Sunday. Nobody cared. Like I just want it to change. I'm tired of it. It's been this way for 20 years. And it starts with Jerry. Jerry's got to get out of his own way. So
yeah. So I see a lot of kind of the same type of comments from everybody. Jeff saying killer instinct. Bruiser saying I want to see more accountability. Rachel Neen saying I want to see better attitude. B. Neil Christian saying be more focused. Accountability. TC915 going to more schematically, bigger defense, more motion, creativity. Cy Witherspoon being more specific, saying more two tight end sets. I think we are going to see a lot of that. Let me see anybody else I missed. Jeff came with a follow-up, better philosophy and attitude. And then we got some guys doing more wishful thinking up here. Bruiser saying a Super Bowl win. Hector Rosario saying playoff success. Definitely want that one. And then TC915 saying everything, every GD thing. So here's one that I would like to see. I don't know. I know we won't see it. I said realistic. William Coulter saying more man-to-man coverage. Definitely want to see that. TC915 saying a new GM. I wish. Probably won't happen. Got a lot more good ones in here. More use of the fullback. I definitely agree with that one. What I would like to see more of, and this goes back to the very beginning of the show, I want to see Dak given the keys to the car. I want to say, Dak, you are the quarterback of America's team. This is your offense. What do you like? If it works, it works. If it craps out, it craps out. But let's see what we have in Dak Prescott. Maybe he'll start wanting to run more. I don't know. But give him the opportunity. He's got 1 year left. Let him drive the car off the cliff if he wants to. But let's see. Is he the guy who should get $60 million next year? In my opinion, once you get to year 6 or 7, that's where you want to see your quarterback kind of take the reins of the offense. Haven't really seen that yet. It's been 100% Kellen Moore. Last year, it was Mike McCarthy trying to implement his thing. Now, Dak, is your turn. You're the guy. What do you like? What do you want to see? Go to the line. Call out what you want to call out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we know what we got to do in 2025. Jeff said he drove the car off the cliff last game. He definitely did that. But I want to see him do it his way, not going out there and being intimidated and going off their playbook. Raphael saying Quorum's only 5'8", 5'9". That does not bother me in today's NFL. That's actually better in my opinion to have a short, stocky running back. It's not 1995 football anymore. You don't need a guy who's 6'3", 250 pounds to be able to have a successful running game. As long as he's not undersized, 5'8", 5'9", that's not a problem for me.
You mean he's not a deuce spawn? Is that what you're saying? He's not a deuce.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I don't know what we're going to do with him next year.
and see, we get ourselves in these situations. It's just something. I think when you said something about Dak, and I just want to say that I think what's frustrating to everybody is that they see flashes of Dak's greatness,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then he just fails. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to watch. And someone said we had the team to do it. We did. I don't. But then again, I don't know if Jay in the Bay's in here, he's going to be like, "Oh, I like what she's about to say." I don't think anyone is getting around the Niners and the NFC this year. They're going to have some tough decisions in the offseason money wise. Um, I think it's going to be the Niners, and then the AFC is kind of up for grabs on who's going to get there. But I did want to see us succeed. And we didn't go. We backpedaled. We went backwards. We made it to the divisional last year and we went
Uh-huh.
back. It's like it makes no sense to me how this team falters the way it does. I just want to see more preparation too on that note. Something else you want to see, like what would I like to see changed? Prepare. Don't overlook each team. Um, don't talk in the media as much. Keep your head down. Just play football. Like, and that's what the coaches too. Cowboys are all about media opportunities. It's so annoying, but I've never seen so many. There are more people that do media for the Dallas Cowboys than do media for probably every other football team combined. There's so many media people. So Jerry needs to shut his mouth and step aside and let people do what needs to be done. So
All right, so we're about to end the show. Just to let you guys know, we're gonna take a short hiatus. I don't want to be the type of podcast that just comes up here and just talks about crap. I like to talk about real relevant content. And right now, there's nothing relevant we could talk about with the Cowboys. But as soon as the Super Bowl is over, I will be back and I'll be hitting it hard with free agency talk. So I'll let you guys know who we're losing. I'll give you my thoughts on who's gonna come back, who's gonna go, and then I'm gonna give you guys a lot of information about the players that are available who I think will fit this team and are realistic based on the Jones philosophy of trying to pinch a penny. So before we go, because we're doing off-season talk, the last question for the show is, what is the first off-season move you would like to see the team make? It could be signing a player, it could be trading a player, it could be cutting a player. What is the first off-season move you'd like to see the team make? And thank you, TC915. Definitely appreciate that.
thank you.
Jeff has a request, Amanda.
Oh, I see it. Like, I'll send you a voice message or something, but we're gonna stay professional, okay? Jeff's taking my answers too. Jeff, see, now you're gonna make me say something. No, I'm just kidding. There's something when you look at the way the league year is. There's a lot of things we really can't do. You got to wait till the new league year starts too. So we are on a
Mhm.
time frame. Um, I was gonna say cutting Gallup because yeah. But and then my next one was, well, I was going to say extend Dax so that we had money to use and actually spend it on players, but then Luna took that one. Thanks to Lunatic. So I am actually going to say I want to sign CD to a very big deal before any other receiver gets a contract that makes his money go up.
Mhm.
We have got to sign CD Lamb. So that's my first. I'm signing CeeDee Lamb to a big contract and getting it out of the way and exercising Micah Parsons' fifth-year option. Those are the two things I'm doing first and foremost. Even though I talked about trading him earlier, let's exercise his fifth so we ain't got to worry about that. He can't go nowhere. Hope that he doesn't sit out like and pull a Zeke. And then
Mhm.
I'm going to sign CeeDee Lamb so the money isn't – because that's what we always get ourselves into binds by giving big contracts after when it's too late. It's what we did with Dak. We have a history of doing it. Let's sign him as soon as we can. Give him a contract. His agents should already be in the office. They already should have numbers sitting up and discussing it. I doubt they have, but that's what I'm doing. I'm signing CD.
Yep.
So
And I mean, that was mine 100%. When I go through the roster, we don't have a lot of guys whose contracts we can restructure. Going through the team right now, Trayvon Diggs is automatic.
Right.
every contract has an automatic restructure for the second year, so that one's a given. We have Zach Martin, who you're probably not going to touch that contract. You have DeMarcus Lawrence, you're probably not going to touch that contract. You could touch Dak's contract, but it'll just lead to more dead money in the future. And I don't think they're gonna extend him. So the only contract you can actually touch that's a guy of the future that won't affect the cap too much would be CeeDee Lamb, because his 5th-year option is $18 million. So if you sign CeeDee Lamb to an extended contract, like you said, Amanda, that would take him down from 18 million to
It's like 3.
probably 3 to 4
Mhm.
million in this year. So that'll save you $13 million.
Then
So
cut Michael Gallup post June 1st, and you're
right,
going to save 9.
9, right. So if
Mhm.
you want to get the biggest bang for your buck, you probably want to get CD signed. You want to keep them happy. You want to keep them engaged. You want to cut out any off-season chatter. So you got to take care of that one first. I don't think they can sign Micah Parsons to a contract this offseason, because if you look at his contract the way it's structured right now as a first round pick, he's only making like $3 million.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do to reduce that amount if you sign him to a contract. If anything, you're gonna double it. So you're pretty much stuck with him on his rookie deal until he gets to his 5th-year option, like Lamb is right now. And then his 5th-year option will probably be like 24 million, and you can cut that down to 3. So Micah Parsons is not going to get touched. We're probably going to hear about it all off season because he likes to talk a lot through his podcast, especially once CD gets that big money and he knows he's next in line. But yeah, CD has to come first.
Mhm.
Hiram saying let Pollard go. Pollard's
He's a free agent.
he's a free agent, so he's already gone. TC915 saying find a suitable replacement for Tyron Smith. Left tackles don't grow on trees, TC915. We're not gonna find a replacement. I think they would rather go in-house and see what they have than try to sign a guy outside. Because if you sign a guy outside the Cowboys facility, if he's a decent left tackle, the only reason he's available is because of injury. That's the only reason a left tackle becomes available. So now you're just basically trading one injury-prone guy for another one. I'd rather just see what we got in-house and let one of these 4th-round picks try to earn their keep, because they're playing next to an all-pro guard and some very good tight ends. Raphael saying trade a player for a 3rd or 4th-round pick. Michael Gallup, I don't think he can get a 4th, but you could probably trade him if you don't want to keep
Do you
him.
think
I'm sorry,
I
go ahead.
can't think I mean, Kansas City would be who I'd call about Michael Gallup first, because they are desperate need of receivers.
Yeah.
Like they are really, I don't know what they're doing over there. I mean, because even Patrick's contract is structured pretty well. If you look at it, it's structured very well. Kansas City did a really good job. So I would definitely kick the tires on Michael Gallup before I cut him, and just see if I can get anything. So you're getting something
Yeah.
back there. But
But
I don't think you could get a 3rd-round pick for him. I mean, maybe,
no.
but I don't think so, unless someone's maybe a 5th and a 6th. Maybe you could convince someone to give you a 5th and a 6th.
Yeah.
But
We'll be talking about this in the offseason. Remember
yeah,
how they screwed up the Amari Cooper trade?
please don't remind me.
Remember how they screwed up the Lyle Collins trade? You put it out there that you're going to pretty much cut a guy if you don't get an offer. Nobody gives you an offer, and then you let them go for pennies, for nothing.
Mhm.
I expect the same thing to happen. I wish it would work differently, but that's pretty much what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
William Coulter saying not signing Pollard or giving Dak a big extension. Jeff saying extend Dak. Raphael saying sign Patrick Queen. That would be a great signing. The Ravens did make a trade for the linebacker from Chicago, and I think him and Patrick Queen kind of play the same spot. So just because of that, Queen could become available in the Patriots. I mean, not the Patriots.
The
The Ravens not re-sign him. TC915. I was about to say I didn't read the whole thing at first, but yeah. He was joking about that.
I know, but that's still every time I think about a 5th round pick, I get angry.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't believe we did that. That's
Yep.
just proof of Jerry making mistakes, and then Dak paid for it last year. We all know with the higher interceptions because he was throwing to CeeDee Lamb and, some people that we pulled off the practice squad.
So TC915 saying we could have traded for Roquan Smith or Bobby Wagner, but of course we know how that worked out. The lunatic saying what we just said, you run into the Amari Cooper situation again. And TC915 saying you won't get a bag of Lay's for him. Yeah, I think we're all pretty much on the same page. B. Neil Christian saying bring in King Henry. That was going to be a very interesting one to pay attention to this offseason. If we wait until the second wave, which we always do, a free agency, who's going to be available? I would probably watch the second wave closely. Whoever the biggest name guys will probably be here. I saved this for offseason. I was going to bring up Darius Leonard because I don't think if he's smart, he's not going back to Philly. And it was between us and them. And he knows we have a need. So off-season talk, pay attention to Darius Leonard and see what Darius Shaq Leonard, I'm sorry, and see what happens with him this offseason. All right, guys, 2 hours and 12 minutes. Woo! Our longest show to date. A lot of us ranting, so thank you guys for joining in on the rants. Thank you guys for tolerating our rants. And thank you guys for all your great questions and comments. As always, you guys have been amazing this season. You guys fuel the Fifth Quarter podcast. We would not be able to do this without the knowledgeable group of viewers that we have watching. And we greatly appreciate all you guys do to not only motivate us, but to just keep the show going and keep it growing in the amazing way that it has. So the reason again that I even signed up to do this show from my old podcast is because of all the great things Amanda does for Cowboys Nation. So definitely appreciate you. Appreciate all the stuff you do behind the scenes. And I also appreciate you doing these giveaways to thank this great fan base for all they do. So with that being said, we will go into our last giveaway of the night. So all of you guys who are still sticking with us, we will be giving away that jersey right now. So Amanda, do you know what type of jersey it is, or is that going to be a surprise?
So no, it's actually another 951 jersey from our verified trusted seller in DC Frill. The Lunatic bought these jerseys. We gave one away last month. You can go look. It's posted in the group. Someone took a picture and posted it into DC Frill. They got a throwback Micah Parsons, and it got in today, the winner last week. And so this week it's just another one. Whatever he has in stock in your size, he will tell you. He's got what you do is you message me on Facebook, and I will make a group chat with our jersey guy, and he will show you a big notebook of all the things he has in that size. And then all you have to do is pick, and then he ships it right out. Super simple. Takes usually about 3 to 4 days to get to you. And it's just, we're really lucky. We're super blessed to have awesome people. DeLunatic, thank you for donating these items this week. You've made it awesome. I hate that it had to be on the season finale, basically. It's pretty frustrating. But I just, in response to what Marcus said, I just want to thank everyone for being here. I wanted a podcast for a really long time. We've had hits and misses and tried here and there, but we never had a reliable person who would come in and do it week after week. And I never really wanted to go on camera, which is hilarious because now I don't shut up and I bother Marcus all the time. But I just want to say thank you to Marcus for coming in and doing this. I really appreciate it. And DC Frill, we're so blessed to have you. So we're grateful. And I'm super excited to see what 2024 holds and what we're going to talk about coming up. Y'all see me. I'll be around. Marcus probably won't be able to get rid of me. So, but thank everybody for being here, and we appreciate y'all. And good luck and to whoever wins.
Yeah, we have about 40 weeks of content, so I can't do it all by myself. So you always have an open door to join me on the Fifth Quarter podcast whenever you want to talk or rant about what's going on in Cowboys Nation.
And I love football. I know people always give me a hard time. My husband's not a football fan. He's not a football fan. So DC Frail's been like a big outlet for me and everybody. So I get to come on here and talk with y'all, and I really appreciate every one of you. So
All right, guys. So it's time to hit that button. As you guys know, every time you make a question, leave a question or make a comment, you are entered into the drawing. So let's see who is the winner of this jersey. If I do win, I am keeping the jersey, by the way. Stephen Franco, thank you for joining us tonight, and you are the winner of the jersey. So make sure you contact Amanda Foster on Facebook. If you haven't done so already, I see you're a YouTube watcher. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Bluff City Cowboys. Also subscribe to the new DC4L YouTube page as well. And also join the DC4L Facebook groups.
and
Now,
go ahead, just send me a message. I think I know who it is. I think he's one of our regular group members. So send me a
yeah.
message and we'll get it set out to you.
So I did look this up because somebody brought this up to me on the last episode, and I see TC915 brought it up also. He said he didn't see his name. So what I found out was that once the drawing goes over 50, everybody's entered into the drawing, but they don't put all 50 profiles up there. So even though you don't see your name up there, it is still putting you in the drawing. That whole random name stuff is just to make it look pretty and to just add some visual aesthetics to the drawing. It's still randomly drawn. Everybody who makes a comment still has an opportunity to win. But once it goes over 50 entries, then they don't put all 50 up there, because how could they put 50 up there in less than
Yeah.
5 seconds?
You see what Jeff's trying to do? Which one do you
Yeah.
want, Jeff? Which one do you want to look at?
You know,
He's trying to take one of my helmets. You see this?
oh,
If you
I
want to
didn't
get
see
with
that.
me, oh yeah, he's over here said he's gonna come take one of them. I have several. This is just like my background. Y'all really, my husband, God love that man. Y'all don't even want to know how much stuff I have. I have a ridiculous amount of cowboy stuff. These are my pride and joy. So I've got Michael Irvin from U of M. Sean Lee's my all-time favorite. I've got Dak on the chrome. And then this is the Great Wall, which is Zach Martin, Travis Frederick, and Tyron Smith on this Shut Pro line here. I love memorabilia. So if you ever want anything, just let me know. Oh, I was on your show, wasn't I, Bluff?
Yeah.
Marcus. I forgot that. Yeah, I think it was with Rika and Charlie.
Yeah. The very last episode we did, it was me, you, and Charlie.
That's right. Yep.
All right, guys. So that's pretty much all we have for tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. Great show. Thank you guys for allowing us to rant, and I hope we helped you guys also get stuff off your chest as well, to move into another off season and hopefully look forward to another successful season next year. Once again, we will not be doing a show until after the Super Bowl, so you guys have 3 to 4 weeks off, but we will be coming back same time, 8:30 Central Standard Time on Wednesdays for the Fifth Quarter podcast. I may change to Thursday since there's no football. I'll talk to Amanda about that and see how they feel about that. So we'll definitely be with Wednesdays. We may go to Thursdays. I'm not sure. But be sure, continue to follow us, continue to support. Stay in the DC4L Facebook group, because in the meantime, there are always a lot of great questions, a lot of great engagement in that group. And thank you guys. Appreciate all your support. You guys definitely made this a great season of football talk. Man, anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
I just want to tell you all thank you, and thank you, Marcus, and thank you to everyone. Like, we've grown exceptionally. Like, every week there's been more people, and it just means a lot to be reaching a lot of people in Cowboys Nation. And we want to give you a podcast that's different, and we don't expect anything of you. We thrive on your engagement. We're not going to tell you the way it is because we don't know. We only have an opinion. We're going to be here to listen to your opinion. That's what we thrive on. We run on the viewers. The viewers are what matter here, and it'll always be that way. So I just thank everybody, and I'm excited for the off season and for another good football season with the full season of shows of the fifth quarter. That's going to be great. So
Yeah. Yeah, so we will be kicking things off after the Super Bowl with our free agency profiles. I'll probably give you guys a month or two of free agency stuff. We'll talk about who's available, who's leaving, who's going. I'm one of those people. I do a deep dive in the contracts, so I'm going to give you guys a lot of potential signings, how much I think they'll cost, and how much I think some of our guys will be worth, and then we'll close that out going into the draft with some draft talk. But I'm more of a free agent guy than draft right now, so I'm going to give you guys a lot of free agent stuff, and I'm working on getting some guests in who are some draft experts. I wish I can get Mendoza in front of the camera, wink, wink. But I'm definitely going to try to find some draft guys to come in and talk some draft for you guys because I know there are a lot of draft guys in these comments as well. So once again, thank you guys for joining us. Very appreciative of all the support you've given me over the past 9 weeks. Started this podcast from zero, and we've already got about 50 regulars and several hundred viewers every week, which is amazing. Help me get those subscribers up. I want to be at 1,000 subscribers by the end of next season. So make sure you guys continue to support my YouTube. Also, let's get that DC4L YouTube up over 1,000 as well. And be sure to find us in a month. We're going to do a lot of Cowboys talk about free agency. In the meantime, enjoy some overall great NFL football.
Marcus, real quick here, I'll make a deal. If anyone's still listening, I'll make a deal. If DC4L YouTube and Bluff City YouTube, when they both get to 1,000, I will give away a full size autographed helmet of a Cowboys player of my choosing.
Wow.
Okay. So let's get to 1,000. We'll start pushing it. Share it with your friends. I don't care. Just get them to like the channel. I will drop links onto the page of both of our channels. Share, and so you can share from the page. I will give away a full size helmet that's autographed if we can get us both to 1,000.
That's both now. We have several hundred viewers in here, so we should get there pretty quickly, along with everybody else in the DC4L network. You could post in it. Well, you can't post it in the group because we don't allow that. But spread the word. Help us on our path to get to 1,000. Somebody's gonna have a chance to get a full size autograph jersey. I mean helmet. Sorry,
helmet. Yeah, full size. I don't. Yeah, but I'll make it worth your while. I've got tons of memorabilia, people, so I can get good stuff. And watch for our DC4L Fantasy Football Leagues coming soon. We'll start dropping those soon, and those are really awesome. So you can win awesome stuff there too. So
yeah, if you want to get what did he ask for? Autograph
Kelvin Joseph.
Oh, you could probably just go on like Lindsay Avenue or or somewhere in Dallas. You could probably find him and get one of those helmets directly from the source. And I'm sure he'll make up a rap song for y'all. So, all right, guys, that's pretty much all we got. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you guys in a month. Definitely appreciate your support. As always, let's go Cowboys. You guys have a great off season, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, y'all.